Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Dominant Premade Play-Ins. We are in Game 3 here. I am one of your casters, Backpack, and with me is Primus, and we are going to be watching or casting this game of Excalibur Eternal versus Mose. How are you, Mr. Primus?
I'm doing pretty good. We got a lot of familiar faces to the Risen Faithful in this game here today, so it's going to be interesting to see what kind of show they put on here for us today.
Yeah, we got a few good little names here. Devangelist is also known as Hugo. I mean, a lot of people know Mose. I think pretty much everybody knows Mose if you know of Risen. Kage is also in there. Zeptepi, he was the top for Arctic Ops, which was the winner of Dominant Open last season. So a lot of big names here, honestly, as the bands start to come in. Ribbon and Zillion and Leona are going to be the bands for Excalibur, and it looks like Mose is going to be banning Elise, Morgana, and Talon. Let's see what the first pick and the priority is here for Excalibur.
Lots of target bans coming in, but a lot of the preeminent power picks right now on this patch are on the table. Yumi is still up and available despite her nerfs, and the Renekton was going to be the other one I was going to mention next.
That's
a
really
big
interesting.
Scary croc.
Yeah, that's really interesting, honestly, that they prioritize the Renekton with Yumi still up, Sivir's still up. Lissandra's also good. Akali's up as well. I mean, there's a lot of priority picks here for Mose to kind of sift through. J4 is up as well. They're going to be taking the Akali, can be going top or mid, and the Jarvan as well. Look at that. I am a prophet.
Let's just read off the OP5 list here to see what is still available here. But one of the things that does kind of show why Renekton is such a priority pick right now is because traditionally he hasn't been considered a flex pick, but due to kind of how the meta has shifted, he has become more of a flex pick, but with the Syndra.
Well, yeah, with the Syndra, yeah.
That's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, that's kind of unfortunate that they kind of ruined their own little flex pick, honestly, because I have seen Renekton mid a good amount, but now that, I mean, Kage does play Syndra in the bot lane, so there still can be a Syndra bot. I think G2 did it too, so I mean, it is a possibility that it is Syndra bot. Looks like an Udyr as well for Excalibur, so a lot of spicy picks for the side of Excalibur here.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure about what's going on right now.
Yeah, I'm not feeling it.
I'm gonna withhold my judgment here for a little bit here, but I would have to say at this point I am getting a lot more vibes of sense coming in from Mose than Excalibur right now.
Yeah, I mean, Mose has a very good draft so far. Akali that can go top or mid. Nico can go top, mid, or bot. Top isn't really that great anymore since the AD nerf got built. Or nerfed rather, and Jarvan can go top or jungle, so they do have a lot of flexibility in these picks. But I really think it's Akali top, Jarvan jungle, and Nico mid, but could be anything. As the second round of bans is going to be going, looks like Xayah is going to be banned along with Kai'Sa, so looks like both teams are going to be banning out the ADC. Both of these teams versus looking like going to be banned as well.
What I am going to find really interesting to see is what Mose choose to pick fourth here. Is whether or not they're going to value strong picking a AD carry here, which Sivir, Ezreal, and Caitlyn are pretty much the preeminent ones that are up and on the table for them to play. Or if they're going to prioritize blind picking support and up the supports that are up.
I go ADC here, but I mean that does kind of ruin your flexibility with the Nico. But yeah, I definitely go ADC here, and it looks like they are trying to. As they are hovering the Caitlyn, a very strong pick in this patch, and it is going to be locked in for Mose.
And to be honest, with the way Excalibur's draft going, like I fully expect to see a Raven come in or something right now. I don't really know what to expect at this point.
They need engage. They need engage. I think Yumi would be really good here to speed up the Udyr or the Renekton to try to close the gap for them. But they need engage, definitely. Jhin. So it looks like Kage's Jhin is going to be the pick. So Syndra is going to be going towards the mid lane, as I'm pretty sure Mose has already figured out. But I mean, Kage did play Syndra bot a little bit. Looks like Nautilus is going to be the pick as well. So I wonder what Mose is going to pick here, because usually what you pick in the Nautilus is either, Braum or Morgana. So I wonder if the Braum is going to be the pick here.
Braum is pretty much your best option unless you want to go lower down on the tier list. Like things like the Taric is one of my personal favorites, but Braum is pretty much your standard meta option into melee support just because he beats pretty much almost every melee matchup.
I mean, not only that, but Braum is very good into the team that Excalibur tried to draft here. I mean, Braum can block the Syndra ultimate, the Jhin ultimate, can disengage from Renekton and Udyr. Like, this Braum is honestly a very crucial pick. And also, I just realized that Mo's picked top to bot. It's pretty funny. Call it J4 Nico, Kalen Braum. But I think they are about to start up here. How are you feeling about this draft, Primus? I'm liking it, but...
Okay, so if we're speaking from what composition top to bottom makes more sense, I would have to go with Mo's. Top to bottom makes more sense because the only thing that I'm curious to see is what lane assignments they choose to go with the Nico and the Akali. Because Akali does really well into almost every melee matchup just because she has so much her sustain, her Q's on such a short cooldown that she can pretty much just out-trade most melees just because of the fact that she gets so many Q's off over the duration of a long trade. However, conversely, is that she can also do well into the Syndra. And then Nico can do fine in either match. So it'll just kind of be interesting to see what they approach from lane assignment, but you've got very strong team fighting across the board with dive potential with the Nico, with the Akali and the J4. You have great zone control with the Nico and Braum to prevent their dive. So unless they're getting picked off by the composition that's coming in from the side of Excalibur, I think it's going to be pretty easy for Mo because Excalibur is pretty much only reliant upon picks to make things happen.
Yeah, definitely. And Mo's has like a good like team fighting comp that they can do. They have a lot of engage with the Jarvan and Braum. They have a good amount of disengage with the Braum, the Caitlyn, and the Nico. I think Akali is going to be going into the top lane. Nico is going to be going into the mid lane. I think Akali is just a Hugo champion, in my opinion, I think. So I'm pretty sure Akali just got locked into the top side, so I was right. But I am kind of really... I don't know how I feel about the Syndra here because even though Syndra is a good blind pick, I don't know. I feel like they could have picked up the Nautilus and just waited for the mid a little bit more in the draft. But because I don't know, I think Nico's gonna have a field day with the Syndra, honestly.
Well, the one thing about Syndra that you always do need to keep in mind is that her zone of control when it comes to her skill shots is one of the longest of any mid laner because her stun range, I believe, is like 1100. And just her threat range with her ulti, her ability to cast while moving with her Q and constantly harass down the Nico very easily will make this matchup very balanced on paper. But both sides do have great gank setup. But in terms of straight all-in potential, you can't ever discount the Syndra at level 6 and level 11 to just completely remove one champion from the face of the map.
Yeah, but I bet Mowgli is going to be going a Glacial Augment. By the way, there's like a big meme about Mowgli always taking Glacial champions. Like Zillion, Ari, and Nico, so he's probably going to be going Glacial Augment. So it will be a lot better gank setup for the J4 if he tries to go for the Syndra. Because honestly, the Syndra is, I mean, very immobile. Their carries are extremely immobile. I mean, the only person that really has a dash in the team is the Renekton and to some extent a Nautilus. But like you look at Mo's and they have Akali, J4, Nico has the invisibility, Caitlyn has the 90 caliber net. Braum can jump everywhere, so I don't know how I'm feeling about this Excalibur draft, honestly, because like if Syndra or Jhin does get locked down by the J4 and the Nico combo, they're gonna have a hard team fight.
So. Yeah, because they're really only interrupt for pretty much any of the engage coming in from the side of Mo's is Syndra stun. Like, that's really
Yeah.
their only defense tool is Cinder Sun. And that's never a good sign when you have as much different angles of attack that the enemy team can take at you when it comes to the fact that they have an Akali, they have a J4, they have a Nico who has TP, who will have Twin Shadows, who will have GLP. Like, it's going to be incredibly difficult for Excalibur to keep their backline safe. However, if they're able to get an early game advantage and set up around objectives and force the side of Mo's into face checking into them, Mo's not going to have a great time.
Yeah. And honestly, like, if Mose does like just completely shamble the first engage, Excalibur can re-engage very well with the Center, with the Nautilus, with the Renekton, with the Jhin just sniping them out. So, I mean, if Mose does somehow mess up their engage, Excalibur can win that team fight. I'm not saying they're already out before it even starts. But I mean, obviously, I got to give the draft to Mose here. I just feel like there's a lot of flexibility, a lot of win conditions, and Excalibur. I don't know the Udyr pick. I'm on the Renekton first pick. I don't know. So I don't know. I'm kind of. I mean, both of these teams are 2-0, so I'm assuming they have been drafting the same way that they have throughout the entire tournament so far. So I don't know. Maybe it's just the way they like to play.
I mean, anything can happen when you reach the rift,
Yeah.
but I would agree with you that in terms of in a vacuum, which team composition I would much prefer to have, it would definitely go over to Mo's. It's a lot easier to execute composition because it's not relying upon generating an early snowball advantage to hit those all-important crucial item types.
Yeah. And while we are waiting for the spectator delay, we are about 1:15 here. Primus, I'm gonna be asking you one more question before we cut to break here. Who do you think is gonna win, Mose or Excalibur?
I'd have to give the advantage to Mose, at least on paper. Without having seen either of these two teams plays yet, I can't really base that off of any previous experience. So we're gonna have to go with Mose here. Probably gonna be about a 30 to 35-minute victory coming down.
I gotta agree with you. I think Mose is gonna win. I think 25-30. I'm gonna go about 5 minutes early because I feel like their team comp explodes in the mid game. But with that, we will be taking a short little break so that our casters and our streamers can time up the games correctly, so you guys can have the greatest stream viewing pleasure, rather. So we will be right back. Hello everyone, we are back. It's Excalibur Eternal versus Moze in this 2-0 dominant pre-made play-in. I'm kind of excited, honestly. I think me and Primus both said that Moze should have the upper hand here. But I mean, like you said before, once you get onto the Rift, anything can happen. So I am very excited, and also an interesting first buy from Devangelist, a Dorn's Ring for the Akali.
This has been something I've been seeing more and more in professional play, where non-mana champions who still like the early ability of power but don't want to index into, say, something along the lines of a Dark Seal, which is the more quote-unquote neutral of the two mana sustain items, but want the early AP plus the extra early pot. So that's generally why you would see them end up going that route. I generally think it's because of the extra pot, because they don't want to index into the inspiration tree, because the inspiration tree has been nerfed in terms of its overall sustain. So that would be my guess.
I play a good amount of Macaulay top, honestly, and I have never once thought Dorn's Shield or Dorn's Ring is better than Dorn's Shield. I just feel like Dorn's Shield, with the sustain that you get on top lane, I feel like it's unbeaten. Because, like, pretty much when you get Dorn's Ring, you get one thing that, like, just... It doesn't matter to you. The mana... Like, don't you get, like, mana on, oh no, I forgot you don't get mana on, minion kill anymore. Never mind. But,
you get basic attacks, deal an extra 5 physical damage to minions, 5 mana for 5 seconds.
Yeah, that's also
and you get 60 health and 15 ability power.
Yeah, but regardless, I mean, I am kind of excited to see the Thorns Ring though, because it is something new. But I have thought about it. I won't lie to you. But Evangelist going up here does have the Shroud. Good amount of trading all along. Does take a little bit of a turn shot there as well. Both junglers are off to a hot start as well in their jungles. I'm kind of surprised Udyr didn't go for his Raptors though, but hey, I guess, you know, single target camps. Trying to get that through as fast as you can.
Yeah, I think he wants to try...
Gank top. Yeah, he is going to try to gank top here. Devangelist is level 3. Zeptepi does have the 3 now, and Devangelist is in a lot of trouble because Delicious Pancake is here. The flash for the stun. Zeptepi going to be able to get the first blood for Delicious Pancake in the side of Excalibur.
Yeah, it's just not really an expected gank timing, I think, coming in, because I don't think a lot of people are used to playing against Udyr in solo queue, so your idea about when he can look for that potential gank is not quite the same as other junglers, because most other junglers that you will see will be going for that standard full red side clear into top side, rather than skipping your AoE camps and just doing your smaller camps on your way up to the game.
Yeah, Udyr is still sitting in this bush as well, waiting for the Akali. Zeptepi smartly kind of froze his lane around where Udyr can be able to gank. But, oh, it looks like, yeah, Delicious Pancake just running him off here. Evangelist able to know that Udyr is there, but he did stay on the top side for a while, so J4 going to be on the bot side getting that scuttle. Hopefully, I assume he's going to be going into the Udyr's jungle, but I don't think he is. There's a big trade here for Zeptepi. That press the attack, man, does so much damage.
Yeah, the early gank really allows Zeptepi to get lane control in this lane, because
there's Evangelist gonna be going down again. Yeah, this is a rough matchup already. The Udyr getting a good gank on the top side. Angel not going to be getting the best of trades. I thought the J4 was going to be able to get more from the Cinder, but she did get the flash. The Evangelist is just... The J4 needs to go up there, man, and fast.
Yeah, he just needs to get at least some stabilizing pressure up there. He doesn't need to necessarily, but engage in the bot lane.
Yeah, and engage in the bot lane. Angel's going to be able to get that hook, but Angel might be in a little bit of trouble. So Ignite going to be taking down, no problem. Angel's going to be flashing out of there. A very good return trade there for Moze.
Yeah, the trap placement. J4 was in the area bot lane though.
Oh, J4 is in the bot lane here. The heal from Kage, trying to get the heal Angel. Gonna be able to get out with that dredge line. Hooking himself to the turret. Gonna be able to get out of there safely, but Cage gonna be having to burn that heal. So it's still a successful gank for the side of J4 there and the side of Mose.
Yes, it is expending J4's flash at the expense of the Nautilus's, so not the worst of trades, because if J4 is able to return when he's level 6, Nautilus does not get out. Something I do want to mention though that happened while we were off looking at other lanes is Syndra does not have her flash in the mid lane anymore, so that could also be a very crucial point here coming in the immediate future here. But I want to go back to that bot lane trade where it was just a little bit unfortunate trap placement coming in from Double B. If he had placed it a little bit farther ahead and got Nautilus onto that trap, that would have been a dead Nautilus and start trying to get an advantage for the side of Mose, because this top lane is not looking pretty for that.
Yeah, this top lane, I feel like not having a bad day, has to come and gank to kind of reset this lane, get Akali's lane kind of pushing up, but Xemtepi actually just completely cleared the lane, so I guess never mind on that. But Vexus has been hitting a good amount of stuns. Like, I feel like every time he's go to the mid lane here, she's just hitting stun after stun. This Angel is in the mid lane here trying to find a gank. Wasn't spotted on a ward either, but I think Mowgli knows better. And looks like Angel's just going to be retreating back to the bot lane.
You know, whenever I see supports running as a support main myself, like, and they just sit in a bush waiting to see what happens, part of me just thinks, like, has, like, the, elbow. Yeah, the gank coming in.
Yeah, there is a gank coming in. Evangelist trying to run away, but the flash down from Delicious Pancake. Xemtepi gonna be able to get that kill on that ultimate passive there. Evangelist not having the greatest of times here. J4 is trying to save some turret plates here, but he is 5. Doesn't have his flash either, so if he gets jumped on by Renekton, if they get tower dove, might be in a lot of trouble. So he's just gonna be going back to his red buff here. So a lot of plates going over to the side of Xemtepi.
And Evangelist hasn't been able to even get his flash off in any of his nests so far. He's been sitting on that flash the entire game and hasn't been able to use it to try to escape any of these.
If I can so politely ask Mr. Joe, the streamer, to go to the gold here. Renekton is already 1.3k ahead in gold. And it is 8 minutes in. Like, that is unbelievable. Ooh-wee. It's gonna be an uphill battle for the Evangelist here. Not having a bad day, trying to go into the mid lane here. Not gonna be able to get stunned, but Mowgli getting a lot of damage here. Delicious Pancake is here for the counter gank just in case, but oh man. I hope. I mean, I don't even know what the Evangelist can do in the situation anymore. I mean, like, I'm pretty sure Xemtepi can 2v1 at this point.
Well, to branch off your point about the gold, you also have to factor in Xemtepi is also at least a full level ahead of Evangelist, who's sitting at a level 8, and Mowgli
might be in a little bit of trouble.
Dead.
Yeah, he's just dead. The rest of the attack on the top side as well. Evangelist had to flash away. Mose is off to a really rough early game start here. Excalibur doing very well.
Like, Pancake's just been doing so much work on this. You're getting so much early game pressure that not just hasn't been able to match on this J4. But we do have to keep in mind that if it falls into a standard team fight stage, the composition coming in for the side of Mose is still a lot easier to execute than the one coming in from the side of Excalibur.
Yeah, and I mean, if Renekton does try to dive into the back line, Mose does have a very good Braum in their hands, so they're able to just disengage pretty well. But I don't think Renekton can one-shot Double B. Double B is very good at positioning and his trap placement, so I think he'll be just fine when it comes around the team fights. But they cannot let does Renekton get any further ahead? Because Devangelist is not playing the waves very well either, like at all. Like it's always
part of it is because of Akali. Akali's not the greatest of champions to freeze with, just because your Q, which is your main trading ability and your main wave clear ability, is AoE.
Oh, well, geez. Here comes Melissa Pancake again. Evangelist had to burn the ultimate there. J4 is on the bot side here. Angel might be in a little bit of trouble. Does have to flash away, but can't flash away from the Cataclysm. Mo's gonna be able to get that Braum ultimate, and J4 gonna be able to get the first kill picked up for Mo's there.
I don't think they needed to expend the Braum ultimate for that play as well.
No.
If they could have saved that for a later skirmish, but they are going to be able to get the Ocean Drag more than likely here, but they are trading it for Rift Herald, which could be crucial for continuing the snowball coming in from the side of Excalibur.
Yeah, but here comes the Gen Ultimate, the Curtain Call. Not going to be able to get anything there is the Ocean. Going to be able to go over to the side of Mo's there. One thing I also have to point out, I hate, like, I'm a jungle main, right? Or some people say Sedge Abuser, whatever. But I hate people that, like Jarvan, right here, go in the Conqueror build, but he went Warrior instead of going Cinderhawk. So it's just, I don't know. Like, if you go Warrior, you're supposed to go the Electrocute. I don't know. It's just, it feels wasted to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a tank dog. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I've seen more people do that. I was just like, why? How do you do that? I mean, yeah, it does give you more damage, but you need tankiness.
Warrior is all about the immediate power spike, while Conqueror is about scaling.
And it looks like Angel gonna be able to actually get that dredge line there.
Gotta love that hitbox.
Gotta love that hitbox, man. I mean, that was a very good predicted dredge line there on the side of Angel. I mean, holy, that was pretty sweet. Not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, but one of the things about the safe splitter that you do need to keep in mind on Nico is that she herself does not move immediately when she casts that ability. So, like, there is some ways to play around it as Devangelist.
Yeah, Devangelist. Yeah, Zeptepi did flash stun. He's trying to get away, but he cannot get away fast enough from Pancake. 0-4 now for the side of Devangelist on the Sakali.
Yes, but they need to convert this into other lanes because, yes, you have Zeptepi's 2-0-2, you have a 3-0-1 Udyr, but you have to transition that to other points of the map because you can't rely on the Renekton to 1v9. That's not how the champion is constructed.
And I think people also kind of forget a little bit that Jhin used to be the counter to Caitlyn because Jhin mid-game is, like, insane. And Caitlyn is a trough. Yeah, there's a little bit of a pick off there. J4 also getting the kill. I wish Mowgli would have been able to get that kill. But J4, with that warrior build, he's going for it as Q is going to be able to miss. Mose is able to get that ultimate off, though. Not going to be able to get that. Actually, he is able to get the passive. I thought he was going to be able to get the dredge line. Not going to be able to. Double B. Able to pick up that kill despite Cage's heal. Here comes the curtain call. Not going to be able to get anything out of it as it looks like actually Caitlyn did have to flash away. Most in a lot of trouble. Caitlyn getting that ace in the hole. Syndra not going to be able to use that ultimate power there to kill the Braum. So Moses bot lane looks like a point of contention here for him.
Yes, but they are going to lose tempo here as they are chunked fairly heavily. They're going to try to hold off from any turret plates going down. But one of the things we have not mentioned to this point is how strong of a pick Braum is into champions like Syndra and Jhin, who are straight line CC champions and have a lot of straight line damage, which are incredibly easy for the Braum to block with that Unbreakable, which we do need to keep in mind when team fights start happening.
The Evangelist, why? You burned your shroud. Oh, Lord. This is rough to watch, man. Like, if people know me, I play a ton of Akali top, and like this is painful to watch, dude. Like he lost his turret and he was still pushed up all the way to Zeptepi's turret. Like, Lord. The Rift Herald's gonna be channeling here to the bot side here for Excalibur. J4 and Mowgli is on the bot side here. Wave is kind of stalling here. Mowgli is trying to get this teleport here. Yeah, it should have kept the tower, but at what cost? Looks like not having a bad day, gonna be able to jump on an Angel, but he might actually just be the sacrificial lamb. It's the Dress Line, not gonna be able to hit. Who's gonna get the kill? It is Mowgli. The Evangelist is here as well. He's trying to do what he can, but it gets stunned up by the Udyr and the Jhin, and he cannot do a damn thing. Udyr on a rampage here.
So, can we get a RIP in the chat, please, for Evangelist's value of gold to the enemy team? Because I'm pretty sure he's about to almost to the level of a cannon minion at this point.
Yeah, 0-5. It's the power of the coin flip, dude. It's Renekton. Zep Tepi gonna be able to get that inner turret as well, but they did trade it for an outer on the bot side, but I mean, it's obviously worth for the side of Excalibur. Yeah, they got an outer in the mid lane, and they got an inner in the top lane for an outer in the bot lane. An Ocean is up. I wonder if Moze is going to try to contest this because they will get 2 Oceans. I honestly highly doubt it, but...
Yeah, Neil.
Yeah, they definitely shouldn't.
Yeah, they need to just
Dear
try
God.
to stem the bleeding, allow the Evangelist to get access to pretty much all the top side farm. Let him take jungle camps, let him take the top wave, because you have to get the Sakali back into the game. Because if the Sakali isn't going to get back into the game, you have very low chance to execute either Vexus or Kage on the backside. Because yes, while all the gold is onto the Udyr and onto the Renekton, you have a Braum, you have a Nico to stop them from getting on top of Double B. And Double B's sitting at a pretty good spot. I'm a little curious as to see he's not going for that flavor of the month Caitlyn build. Yeah,
that's a streamer. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised as well, but this is the classic Caitlyn build, not including the Ruinous Hurricane. So
I don't want to ever remember those patch days.
Why not, dude?
Headshots every third auto attack.
You don't like the wave clear of Ruin's Caitlyn? Come on, bro.
It was more of the fact where I'm sitting there playing Thresh support and Caitlyn just sits there, autos 3 times in the team fight, and I get hit with 2 headshots and I die.
Yeah. Do you remember when like they kind of like mini reworked Caitlyn like right at the beginning and like right at the beginning of the mini rework? She just used to keep saying boom headshot.
Oh yeah.
Holy Lord. That was when Caitlyn was really good too. Like right after the rework, she was pretty good at the you just hear boom headshot over and over again in your lane. Holy God. That was
and you're just like, Reno, please.
That was like almost as tilting as the Lux laughed. Like almost. It was very close. But
I still say Lulu laugh is worse.
Really?
Lulu laugh is the worst laugh in the game. You cannot convince me otherwise.
Nah, I think Lux laugh is pretty bad. Lux laugh is tilt worthy. but back to this game here. Excalibur is up by 5.5k at 19 minutes. It looks like honestly Double B is really the only win condition so far for Moze. So I mean, as long as he can get through this middle game trough, as Caitlyn is so you know,
famous for.
Yeah, she's really famous for that. As Evangelist gonna be getting jumped on here again. Please don't go back in. Thank God. I feel like that E for Akali is sometimes like the Lee syndrome. Like you hit a Q and you're like, oh, I should go in. But
my mind tell me no.
Yeah, for real. but holy
on
Lord.
a serious note, like Moze is still sitting okay because all the gold advantage is on to Pancake and Zep Tepi. So if they can force a fight where those two are not there, like there's no gold difference.
Yeah, but if somebody gets picked off by the Renekton and the Udyr, then your team fight can be obsolete. So it's kind of a very bad double-edged sword here for the side of Moze. Are they trying to pick somebody off here? No? Just trying to get control of this bush. As the Evangelist continues to farm, his TP is almost up. Along with
he has gunplay now. He halfway
does.
to being a relevant champion.
Yeah, kind of unfortunate for him because the gunblade was so late because he had to build the Seeker's arm guard first to deal with the Renekton, and he still like got destroyed. But ay. I wonder if Baron is a point of contention here for one of these teams. I mean, both of these teams have an ocean. Yeah, I don't think either of these teams can as well. Because like
neither team has good damage for it. Neither of the teams actually has a tank for it either.
Yeah, with like when you have a Jhin, it's really hard to Baron because you don't have that much DPS. That's why people honestly just don't pick it that much in pro play. Because you pretty much have to get lucky with the RNG and get a mountain. But they do have a Syndra, so they do have a good amount of DPS. I think Delicious Pan. Oh.
The BM.
He took the blue away from the Syndra too. Holy. Oh man. I mean,
I didn't realize.
He's 4-0. He's like, I gotta carry.
I didn't realize we had Trick 2G here in the Dominate Premades.
Oh man, but I mean, I don't think red buff on Gem would do that much anyway, as it looks like both teams are trying to contest here.
I'd give it to Renekton.
Yeah, I would too. Both teams are trying to get Mount Drake here, but it looks like Excalibur is going to be able to. Angel trying to find a dredge line here, not having a bad day, might be in a little bit of trouble. Won't be able to get the stun, but the root is going to be landing. Angel able to get that ultimate down. Cage going to be able to get that kill, but the Evangelist finally gets his first kill. He finally does get the assassination onto the Cinder. He is able to flash away as well, but can't flash away from the Zep Teppy flash stun. But, I mean, all things considered, I mean, Excalibur did get the Mountain Drake. Does have 2 up here. It looks like another hook.
Big damage up.
They do. Angel not going to be able to get that kill because
I don't think
shield.
Excalibur can get anything off of this. Like the core 3 for Moze are all full HP. They have a lot of CC and a lot of damage on the table. Even though Caitlyn doesn't quite have her RFC, like yes, they win the fight. Yes, they get the Mountain Drake, but Evangelist getting a kill has to be worrisome because even though all your
it's the gold reset, dude. It's the long comp.
Yeah, but he died immediately after, so.
But still, I think honestly having a kill on the Akali is more detrimental than anything because now the Akali is worth 300 gold again. But whatever. To each his own, I guess. Oh man, dude, this shape.
I mean.
CF4 build making it, dude.
Yeah, we just don't look at it. Just don't look at it.
Just don't look at it? Alright, don't look at it. Okay. I won't look at it.
Just don't. It's...
Warriors into Gargoyle? Like, okay, you either
just
go Warriors... You either go Warriors into Black Cleaver, you go Cinderhawk into Gargoyle. Why is he half-assing all of this? I don't know. Yeah. But it looks like Baron may now be the point of contention here for the side of Excalibur. They do have a Mountain Drake. They do have a lot of pressure as well with Zeptepi in the bot lane here. Evangelist trying to get a kill on the Vexus here. Vexus does have the ultimate power though. The flash away from Vexus. Not going to be able to save him though. Delicious Pancake is here. Evangelist doesn't have the second part of the ult. So it looks like not having a bad day. Not going to be able to help him out at all. And, oh, a very great flagging drag there for not having a bad day. Mowgli the Cat and Moze as well. All trying to get a kill on the Angel here. Stunned and snared and can't move. Mowgli the Cat can be able to get that kill. Yeah, but Bot Tower is getting pressured here by Zeptepi. And, yeah, no, he can't. I mean, Evangelist can't 1v1 him anyway. He's not even up. But, I mean, Zeptepi's gonna get this. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, okay, so looking at it from Mowgli's perspective, is they got a 1-for-1 kill trade, which anytime you're behind, anytime you're able to get an even kill trade or even objective trade, it's actually a win for you because that gold is worth more to you than it is to the enemy team. Now, adding into the turret that Tepi got is you were probably not going to be able to defend that side lane split push anyway. So as long as he didn't push in for an inhibitor tower, I think giving up their tier 2 is fine because it gives more space for the Ecology to push out.
Oh, yeah, this Caitlyn is in a lot of trouble.
Oh, but the Unbreakable!
Yeah, the Unbreakable is just blocking up everything. That Braum pick is so valuable, man.
Yeah, that would have been a dead double B with any other support, but with double B chunked out, that could be a potential Baron start.
Yeah, that could potentially be a Baron start, and I think Mose does know that because Cardi stopped his back there, so yeah, it looks like they are going to be starting up the Baron here. They don't have a lot of vision at all, so they have no idea what they're walking into. Baron is at 9k, and it looks like Excalibur just going to be disengaging off of this. Angel's trying to find a dredge line, not going to be doing anything, so it looks like it's still lane pushing time for the side of Excalibur.
Yeah, and they're still getting slowly and more items onto their Fed members. We didn't see the Twin Shadows went straight for the Zanyas, which I think is fine, given how the game is playing out, but it looks like he might end up skipping the Twin Shadows altogether and look to go into maybe like a Void Staff or something third. But it's getting closer and closer to that double zeal with IE Kate point, which is where she starts really starting to just take over the game.
Sorry, my mom called me. Okay. Alright, back to it. Looks like the Infernal Drink is up. Not a lot of vision here for the side of Mose, though, so they have to be very careful going into these bushes. Zeptepi is backing, though. So, he does have TP, so he's A-okay, but they really have to be careful because Nautilus plus a Syndra plus an Udyr can spell absolute disaster for Team. It looks like Jarvan is going to be chunked out here.
He's caught out.
Yeah, Zeptepi may be a little caught out here. But he is able to flash away. But I mean, that is the power of the Braum. They can't get away. That is the Jarvan and the Nico engaged as well. Angel going to be able to get a kill. Not having a bad day. Evangelist is going to be Zanyang though. Luckily the cat trying to get another kill onto Vexus. Vexus with the ultimate power going to be able to get a kill on the Evangelist. Well, the cat might be going down as well, but the Zanya's going to be able to stop him. Most can't get the kill because he can't get the stun. But he is eventually going to be able to get it. That is all for all a 3 for 3, but they can't do this Infernal. Because Excalibur still does have their jungle up, so they have to be very careful here. So let's see if Braum and Caitlyn can outplay this, but it doesn't look like it is. It looks like you don't even need a jungler. Jin, 4 shot is that smite. So it looks like Infernal is going to be going over to Excalibur, but a 3 for 3, I think that's pretty much best case scenario that you can have for Mose.
Yeah, the only troublesome part is the Infernal Drake does go in over to Excalibur at the end, but the Goldie's holding steady at 5k, and you're getting more and more items onto the table. It's just, can you get to the point where Caitlyn can do enough damage to win the fights for you? Because you have all the zone control you need to allow her to do that, but it's just whether or not she can get the items faster.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Caitlyn is about to get out of this mid-game lull that she's so famous for. Like she is, what's she going for next? Static Shiv, right? Or is it Phantom?
Yeah, I'm assuming Shiv because of the Shiv RFC synergy. Plus it gives her additional wave clear, which is something this composition could always use more of. She does have enough to get it if she can get a back timing it in. But if she backs right now, that's probably them losing the Baron.
Yeah, and I mean, we just saw the team fight that Mose did. I mean, they were 5k down and they still evened out the team fight pretty much. So I wonder if that really gives the confidence for Mose to say, hey, we can still team fight. You know what I mean? Like Zeptepi did kind of int, I'm not gonna lie. That that TP was a little questionable, I think, to say the least. But it was interesting. Interesting. But regardless, I still think that Mo's can win a team fight. So I don't think they should be afraid to team fight, honestly. Like, that would be strong, man. Look, he got a Shiv now, so he's at 3 items. He's about to start doing major damage here.
Yeah, there's a lot of damage on the table, but which team is going to execute more efficiently in these team fights?
Oh, the Evangelist, run away. Run! He's so fast. That Pancake is so fast. Come on, Evangelist. He really doesn't want to burn his ult, but he has to. That's really unfortunate. But hey, you need to get it to get away because, I mean, honestly, if Akali gets picked there, that was definitely 100% Baron. So,
and I mean, it still might be Baron because that's that's like a 60 some odd second window before that ultimate's back up. You have a massive stack wave in the bottom lane that Moz has to deal with. And I have to give a lot of credit to Excalibur. They've had pretty much impeccable Baron vision control for the last 5 or 6 minutes or so. Even when they went down to the Dragon, they still kept their vision focused topside because they know Baron is the end game objective.
Cage, I know him very well. He hates that like triple or quadruple Infinity Edge build. So he just goes for like the Phantom Dancer and the Rapid Fire, but looks like Baron is going to be started up here, and it looks like Moz is just, they have no idea. Baron is at 3.5 here, 2,
it's gonna be down.
1, and it's gone. They had no idea. Very great call there from the side of Excalibur.
Just dominate vision control allowed them to secure that Baron, but now they have to look to break the base on this push because they're starting to get to the point where the side of Moz has their 3rd items completed, and this is starting to get to the point where the composition from Excalibur, even with their gold advantage, their gold starts becoming less and less efficient.
Did you just see what Jarvan bought?
Yeah, I already said we don't talk about it. This build is legitimately all over the place.
Yeah, and it looks like Dillis Pancake not gonna be in that much of trouble because he's just so fast, especially with that chilling smite. So the perfect execution did have to be burned there. Yeah, he has to jump over the wall. There we go. Thank you very much. What's the next dragon? It is another Infernal, but honestly, I mean, can Moz even try to contest that?
They can.
But will they?
No.
Yeah.
Probably not. Because
Yeah,
they don't have the Akali ultimate.
Oh, yeah, Cardi is going to be going down, but not having a bad day. Still went in the Gargoyle Stoneplate. Not going to be able to save for too much longer, but Nico trying to do as much damage as she can, but Angel's going to be able to get a kill on her, not having a bad day. Evangel's trying to run away. The curtain call, going to be able to get the Nico. And it looks like Double B is going to be able to run away with his life here, but man, Moz, what are you doing?
That is a situation where vision control and lack of cohesive communication makes a massive amount of difference.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at Moz here. They have like no pink wards on them, and not in their inventory. Not in the. They have one near the Baron pit, but that's it. Like, they have absolutely no vision. I don't know why they're trying to walk into a pick comp. With just the Braum and the Jarvan, that was just they're just giving leads away for no reason.
Yeah, the gold lead has finally grown for like the first time in a good 10-15 minutes, cresting that 6,000 mark. But again, you're getting to the point you have 3 items completed on everyone on the side of Moz. You have 3 items completed on everyone on the other side of the map. But with inventories filling up, that means the gold difference will slowly shrink in terms of actual gold difference. And with the base still not being broken on the side of Moz, the game's still not over. You have to somehow get the second Baron and break the base with the second Baron. Otherwise, you're going to be so late into the game that you're not going to have any way to get this Caitlyn and kill this Caitlyn.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, they haven't gotten anything with this Baron so far, like at all. Is it even
They
still
got
up?
one tower.
Yeah. Oh, they got one tower. Okay. Okay. That's better. But still, I mean, they really need to crack this base, but I'm kind of with you. I think they do need a second Baron to really get into the base of Mo's. I mean, the wave clear that Nico has, the wave clear that Caitlyn has, it's pretty hard to deal with.
Plus the traps that they have to walk through to hit the tower. This is a
the
very short-range composition.
Yeah, the anti-siege from Mo's is pretty awesome, if I gotta say so myself. Because honestly, if they get too close, Jarvan can engage, and then here comes Nico, and then here comes Braum. Like, it's just not a very good time for anybody.
No, it is not the best of times here. So we do have the Hex Streaker coming in, probably looking at a Bloodthirster or a GA for Caitlyn as her next completed item. The Hex Streaker is just to survive the Cinder Burst.
I go Bloodthirster.
I think you have to go Bloodthirster for DPS because you're like the sole hope of your team.
Yeah, because if you die in GA, you're gonna die again anyway. Like if you get out of position on Caitlyn and your GA gets popped, you're gonna die anyway again. So yeah, I just feel like Bloodthirster's a lot better. But I mean, Cinder does have the Morella Nomicon, so a little bit of healing reduction. But otherwise there is nothing, which is honestly kind of surprising because I feel like Akali does heal a good amount. But I mean, I guess we're still how far behind she is. Which actually, she's actually ahead in CS now, which is kind of ridiculous. I mean, down 6 deaths, but...
I mean... Okay, if I could speak a comparison to my solo queue games, I've won solo queue games where I've had a mid-jungle duo combined for over 20 deaths, so... like, anything can happen in League of Legends. Yeah. Nothing is over until the Nexus explodes.
And honestly, like, I feel like the comp that Excalibur did draft, they do fall off. Like, they fall off hard. Renekton is already starting. Like, did you see that damage that he put on the Mowgli? Like, on that bot inhib tower? Like, it was almost nothing. And he put, like, his full combo onto her. So, I just... The Renekton is starting to fall off, and I feel like Mo's, as time goes on, will get better. But can they deal with the 4-Dragon Elder? I don't think so.
Well, it's the 4-Dragon Elder, plus on top of the fact you have to add it's multiplying a double Inferno, so you're getting 3 Infernals worth, plus a mountain and a half on top of that.
And Baron is up as well. I feel like, honestly, if Excalibur get this Baron, I think it's game over. Because if they get the Baron, then they will have a straight beeline going straight towards the Elder Drake here. But, I mean, it is very hard to try to get vision here. Mo's trying to do what he can, not going to be able to get that ultimate and not having a bad day. It's just going to be knocked up into the bounce house. The Redemption going to be going down, but the Evangelist is here. Yeah, Cage going to be able to get that kill. Nico trying to do a lot of damage. A very big Pop Blossom from Mowgli, and here comes the Evangelist. Going to be able to get a kill onto Cage, rather. But still have to run away. Udyr is still alive as well. Here comes a curtain call, trying to get a kill onto Mowgli. Zeptap, he still does have the GA as well. Delicious Pancake trying to run away. Double B is at full health. So all for all, it is a 2-for-2. A very big Pop Blossom from Mowgli.
Yeah, that Pop Blossom from Mowgli was game-changing. It's just, unfortunately, Double B was just a little bit too far away to get immediate DPS follow-up onto it, but that saved the fight when not having a bad day. Goes in and gets essentially caught trying to engage. Gets caught.
I mean, it was the Glacial Fissure that missed too. So it's not all his fault. He thought, oh, here comes the Glacial Fissure. Gonna be trying to get onto the Syndra. Oh, Syndra flashed. I'm in here, guys.
Okay,
with this Warrior Black Cleaver, and I don't know what else he's got. I think he's going Warmogs now. So
okay, if he at least gets Warmogs, it makes 0.5% sense.
Oh, by the way, Hugo is about to hit his 10 death power spike. So, I don't know.
Isn't that the ultimate power spike for assassins? But it looks
Hell
like we're going to see an Elder for Baron trade here. So
Which
the
I think
question,
it's just I think.
yeah. So the question is whether or not Mose can force a team fight in the next 60 realistic seconds by the time everyone resets and gets back out on the.
Yeah, because honestly, if Mose gave that Elder, it was game. But I think if they have, if Excalibur had Baron, I don't think it's really that big of a deal. They do have a good amount of wave clear and anti-siege, so I think they'll be just fine. But the second Baron, I think it will get at least one inhibitor turret. But other than that, I don't think it's gonna get anything. But
BT is completed on Caitlyn. I think I also heard her buy a pot too. I want to see. Double B is currently sitting on 330 AD right now on this Caitlyn.
he's carrying that team to the finish line. But I mean, if it wasn't for Mowgli, they still wouldn't be in this game. That Pop Blossom.
Yeah, he now has his death cap completed. Like, yeah, that excellent Pop Blossom now. Like, Mowgli is a full threat that they have to respect now. They have to respect Evangelist because of the Void Staff. Almost has death cap available. Like, they have to be cognizant because even though Evangelist started the game, what, 0-5?
0-7. It was 0-7.
No, I don't think he started 0-7 because I think it was 1-6 at one point.
Oh, okay.
Because he started 0-5 and then he got the fight where he assassinated Vexus. So he started 0-5 and is now has a completed death cap. Like this is scary, Akali.
Yeah.
Even with that scoreline. You do not want to be Tame, you do not want to be Vexus.
Yeah, but I mean, Vexus can give a good amount of pushback with that Scatter the Weak, so I feel like it will come down to the centers, getting the Scatter the Weak onto the Akali or onto the J4 or the Braum. Like, she has to disengage correctly for Excalibur to be able to re-engage. Look at that. Look, the Scatter the Weak did literally half the health of J4, who's building tank but no MR, so I mean,
he has like 60 MR from Stoneplate. Roughly.
It's not enough.
I know it's not enough, but there is still some MR in the build.
Alright, let's see. It looks like both teams are kind of positioning for a team fight here. Double B is getting right back out from the base. I mean, both of these teams are a full build. If one team gets aced, it's game. It doesn't matter, like, which team gets aced, it's probably most likely game. Yeah, because we're just at that point in the game. I mean, 45 minutes almost. I mean, I wasn't expecting this. I wasn't expecting this late at all.
Not counting supports. So Udyr's full build, so he can't get any stronger. He has almost has the most farm on his team. You have one item slot left on both solo laners. Both AD carries are full build. Supports are still 2 items. Sure, and we have 1.5 items left on the Jarvan.
Oh, looks like Jarvan might be caught, and he definitely is. A very good dredge line, plus the Scatter the Weak guy. I was not expecting that. Holy moly. So now it is a 4v5 here with Elder not on Mose anymore. So it looks like WB have to heal as well. Very scared of that Jhin plus everybody else, and it looks like the top inhibitor is going to be broke here. They can't really do anything else, not having a bad day. It's up at 30, but Cardi is trying to do what he can. Lock is going to be popped for Nectin, going on to the back line, and Cage is unstoppable. And it looks like Evangelist is going to be able to
get a return kill.
On the Vexus, he does get a return kill. Does still have the perfect execution. It looks like the second inhib tower going to be going down. Not having a bad day, is about to come back up. So it looks like that will be double inhibitor. Side of Excalibur, maybe. Oh no,
it'll be double inhib.
Yeah, it's double inhib, and maybe the slow from the Evangelist. And it looks like Angel is able to flash away, is able to get that dredge slide onto the Evangelist, but the Evangelist just, I don't know what he's doing. He just went right back in, and Mowgli gonna be able to get caught as well. Lasagna and the Pop Blossom gonna be able to get a kill, but not having a bad day is back. The Ignite taking down a Mowgli, not going to be able to get it.
Double B is still up.
Double B is still up. Not having a bad day, going to be able to get a kill on Zep Tepi. Cage is running away, does have GA, he is fine. So it is a 3 for 2. But both inhibs are down for the side of Moze.
Yeah, in most scenarios, that is generally a death now, because that means they cannot leave their base for when Elder and Baron are going to be spawning here in roughly about 3 minutes time apiece. And if Excalibur is able to secure at least one of those, the game is most likely over. I mean, yes, if you get double Elder on the side of Moze, you might have a small chance, but with only one Drake that is amplifying, the only advantage that you get is the fact that it is the Omega.
Yeah, and I mean, the gold lead is, it doesn't really matter anymore, I think, in my opinion, because like pretty much everybody is full build at this point. So it doesn't matter. But, oh man. But I mean, obviously, Excalibur still does have the tempo. Looks like they are trying to find this Elder Drake. I feel like they should be going for Baron, but I mean, they went for Baron twice, and they got almost nothing out of it twice. So I feel like they're just like, oh, maybe if we get Elder, maybe it will help out. The Evangelist does have TP, so we can get in here, but I mean, Elder is already at 6.5. Here comes the TP. Elder at 3.5. Moze is trying to do what he can. It looks like it's going to be Elder. Yeah, very.
But who gets the team fight?
Who gets the team fight? Angel's going to be able to get down, but the Evangelist is actually just doing what he can. Cade's going to be able to get that kill. The Evangelist is trying to run away here. Cade is going to be able to get away from that GA double B. He's trying to kite out. Bacardi is going to be going down as well, but here comes Exilic Smite. That is an ace for Excalibur.
That is ace, and the game going over to Excalibur. Took a long time, but they're able to secure the 3-0.
Yeah, so Excalibur going to be going into the dominant pre-made. Congrats to them. So it's like Moze does have to go one more game at least to get into pre-made, but great job for Excalibur.
Yeah, very, very strong performance. They came in with a game plan. They executed upon it very effectively. The only qualm I really have with how they played out that game is they really stalled out from about 20 minutes to about 35.
Yeah.
They like, yes, part of that is composition. Like, they don't siege very well as a composition. But I feel like with how strong Pancake and Zeptepi were, you could have just put them in side lanes and leave everyone else in the mid lane, because there wasn't really going to be anyone on the side of Moze who could really contest either of them in the side lane in that time period. But they chose to not go that route, and that's kind of what extended the game an extra 10 minutes, in my opinion.
Oh man, that was a long game. Holy. But I mean, Double B obviously did the most damage in the game. But looking at the damage charts, I don't know, man. There's like no damage at all. I mean, the most damage is 32,000 in a 46-minute game.
Well, the thing is like they weren't actually fighting. Like, it was a lot of picks, small skirmishes. Like, it wasn't like, oh, we're back-to-back 5-on-5 team fighting. It was a lot of 2-on-2s, 3-on-3s, 4-on-4s, 2-on-1s, that type of thing. It wasn't a lot of straight-up 5v5 team fighting.
Yep. So, congrats to Excalibur again. And who are you giving the MVP to, by the way? I'm curious.
Pancake.
Pancake, really? I'm gonna get. I don't know, dude. The way Cage played the team fights, dude. I mean, obviously Pancake did very well, but I don't know. Like,
Pancake got them the advantage. That's why.
But playing a Jhin into a Kali, Jarvan, Nico, and going deathless. That at least got to get a shout out, you know what I mean?
However, counterpoint to that is he generally wasn't the focus of their dive.
Yeah.
It was pretty much always Vexus who was getting targeted.
Yeah. But regardless, again, congrats to Excalibur. So we will be getting into game 2 here very shortly. So stick around, guys. We'll be right back.
Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Risen Esports and our coverage of the Dominate Pre-Made Play-Ins. My name is Eric Desrix Patron, followed right here by my co-caster. It is Primus. Been a long time since I've seen you, Primus. You've already started up with Game 1. You're warmed up. How's this tournament going so far?
It's going pretty good. We had a very back and forth, interesting game number 1, but I'm curious to see how this next game plays out because we had a couple interesting things fall through. Picks and bans last time through.
Yeah, we are on a fresh patch. This patch did drop this week, 9.17. Quite a few changes going around, so the meta going to be shaken up just a little bit because it did focus on things that were a little bit more off meta, so we might see some new champions pulling back in.
Yeah, and once again, this is 2 games in a row where we're seeing the first pick Croc on the blue side here. Really strong pick right now. Is a flex pick on this current patch, but it looks like Rutrose is just going to respond with the good old Zyra Khan.
I love that Renekton. It's Croc O'Clock, one of the OG lane bullies. It's very hard to deal with when you're trying to draft against it because you always have to consider that early game that Renekton does bring is absolutely devastating. Sometimes I refer to it as the level 3 power spike, when you just get all your abilities instantly you turn on as a champion. That's kind of the thing that's going on with Renekton. More picks to go in. Xayah and Urgot picked up for Team Rutro, as well as a response coming out of Rift Watchers, Ezreal.
Well, I think the Urgot can relatively deal with the Renekton, but it's not a champion I've seen a lot of, so personally, I'm not entirely 100% sure where his power level is at. Well, on the other side with Rift Watchers, we have one of the old standard bot lanes of Ezreal Braum, which is just like, okay, I don't want to fight in the bot lane. I just want to farm, hit my items. We'll go into mid-game team fights, and everything will be a-okay.
Yeah, it's a good way to deal with it, especially when you're on red side. You try and go for the Xayah pick. You want to bait them into taking the Rakan, possibly taking a weaker type composition. But for Rift Watchers, they're not going for it. They rather just have all that safety in that Ezreal Braum pick that you were talking about, as well as the J4 locked in for Team Rutro. More bans coming out in the second phase. Orianna and Rakan that we're just talking about taken off the map. More to soon come.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what Rutro chooses to pair with the Xayah, since they chose not to opt into taking the Rakan before the second phase of bans, opting for that power jungle pick matchup with the Jarvan. But Jarvan does still have a lot of difficult one-on-one matchups in terms of the jungle. Things like the Rek'Sai, the Sin, the Elise all do very well into Jarvan, not to mention Olaf as well. So it's a little bit suspect. I would expect to see support coming in here. In terms of picks that are on the table, Nautilus is still on the table if they want to go that route. They can pick up something along the lines of Karma if they want to go with something else. Even Morgana is a decent option, which has been seeing a lot of bans in both my games and other games that I've been seeing recently if they want to go that route as well.
So 5 seconds on the clock. Team Rutro gonna have the counter pick, but gotta pick up one of their own. They're gonna go for the support, taking the Nautilus right now. And the J4 you were talking about, definitely a weak duelist. I can see where you're coming from on that one, but the big thing is level 2 ganker, ease of execution. He's one of the most pristine gankers who's lived since what, like season 2? So the execution's there, you just got to pull it off.
Yeah, there is a lot of early game snowball potential, and are we gonna see the classic top die combo coming in here? Both champions hit level 3. Turret dives are almost as easy as falling asleep for these 2 champions, should they look to do that early and often, even against a champion such as Urgot.
You got sort of a pseudo poke com coming out when you take the Ezreal as well as Zoe, but then you have that contingency plan coming in with the Elise and the Renekton for the early game. And yeah, you were talking about it, that dive potential is absolutely massive on the top side. Elise is so good at early aggression and early momentum. Gotta watch out very carefully for this top side of Rutro. There, but gonna round out their draft. Final pick coming in, be the Hemo Plague, Vladimir.
Yeah, going with more team fight potential, and I mean, if they're able to stave off the early game advantages that the Croc and Elise will be able to generate, which we saw to some extent in the last game, albeit was with a Udyr pick for those at home who did not watch game one rather than the Elise, but that crop got mighty big, mighty early on, and was a massive problem for Moe's to deal with in the last game. But going into this game, like if that same thing happens, I don't know what Rutro has to respond to it, because the Vladimir can be flexed into matching into the Renekton if needed, if the Urgot's too far behind. But the Urgot's really not going to do great into the Zoe because he just gets poked and cries because he can't actually do anything.
Yeah, it's an interesting draft coming out of Team Rutro. I don't like the Vladimir in this. It's a late game champion. It takes a while to start scaling, and it's going to struggle a little bit against either one of these matchups. Most likely it's going to be the Zoe matchup. There's going to be a lot of poking. Even though he can heal up, he can sustain the lane, he can hold the lane, he doesn't really turn on until the late game, and that's one of my worries about Team Rutro's composition when it comes to the solo laners.
Yeah, because they don't really have any early game playmaking potential, because yes, in the bot lane you do have a Nautilus and you do have a Jarvan as well to provide some early game playmaking, but it's an Azure Braum lane. They are incredibly difficult to gank due to the inherent mobility plus the tankiness. Like, it's so difficult in order to try to make plays around that lane, and to be honest with the way their draft is, that's really the only lane they can really effectively play around, because if Jarvan tries to go topside, they're going to lose that too 7 ways from Sunday.
Yeah, and that's the big thing about this composition coming out of Rutro. They do need lane priority to go with them when you do take the J4, because if every single lane loses that priority, J4 is so vulnerable to being invaded on, even by an Elise. Even though he can take a fight to an Elise, getting caught by the Cocoon first is pretty much the death right there. So you need a lot more priority. You are getting some with the Xayah and the Nautilus combo over in the bot lane, but it doesn't set up much kill potential. There's not much you can really do in the bot lane other than set up for Drake, and even then you're still kind of rolling around and just, let's see what we get here. Hopefully it's not a win. Let's try and get that Infernal.
Yeah, but I mean, we can't fully underestimate the execute potential you can get coming in with Urgot. There's a lot of squishy members on the side of Rift Watchers. Like, yes, Renekton's going to have a lot of HP, but nobody else is really going to have a ton of HP, so that Fear Beyond Death can do massive work in.
Did we lose him? RIP Primus? He's gone! Unfortunately. There he is, he's back. He's resurrected.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry, my Mercy who's behind me was a little late casting my revive on me, so, but we're good now. We're back. A little bit of Overwatch thrown in, but we're all good now. I'm back. We're ready to go. But
overall, I'm liking what Rift Watchers, for some reason I can't say that name, is bringing to the map when we look at this as a whole. I like that they have the early game with the Renekton and Elise that we already talked about. I like that you have that poke for any sieges you want to do with the Zoe and Ezreal. And really, the lanes play out quite basically. It's not a hard to execute composition, and it's one where if you do get to the mid game, you should be seeing victory. But if you flop that mid game, that is where Rutro is going to have their chance back in if they fall in.
yeah, the Rift Watchers just has to be very careful with how they want to play this one out, because they have the early game advantage with the Elise Renekton on the top side of the map. They're going to have mid lane priority into the Vladimir with the Zoe matchup. They're not going to have priority in the bottom lane, but their bottom lane should never truly die without a 4-man play down there, assuming it's played out properly. So they have the time that they need in order to hit their mid-game poke that they need to, because if you look on the side of Rutro, like, if they don't have those stats on their front line, like, how are they going to be able to engage into this poke composition?
Yeah.
Because Xayah's their only wave clear.
It's going to be a tough one, but, Primus, only time will really tell. We're going to throw it over to a short break. When we return, we'll get into this match for the Dominate Premade play-ins. We'll be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Dominate Premade Plains Rift Watchers versus Rut Row Gaming. Already hitting the Rift right now. This is the 4th round, by the way, of the Swiss tournament. Both these teams being 2-1 apiece. Winner right now secures their place into the Dominate League. Loser would have to play another 2-2 team. So it'd feel good right now to take that win and not have to do that extra game.
Yeah, nobody really wants to be in the win or go home game because the amount of inherent pressure that comes with that, but it looks like we're going to see a little bit of an invade.
Oh, missed to start running. Able to get the shield on. The winner's bite does land, but the flash over the wall missed to be able to survive. But at the cost of his flash, it's not going to be the biggest problem at this stage of the game. It's still early. Still going to be a while before these junglers do gank, but overall, a successful invade coming out of Rift Watchers.
Yeah, and Vladimir really would prefer to avoid taking his pool level 2 if at all possible, but if Panda chooses to make an early roam to that mid, they have to take that W at level 2. He does have the cleanse to buy him a little bit of extra time, but I think without that pool, it's pretty much 100% death coming in, even with that cleanse, should Panda come to that mid.
Be interesting to see because you do need level 3 on the least before you can do the gank to get all your skills, the cocoon, the Q, the W, the whole shebang. And a lot of junglers, they just do slow jungling nowadays. They try and clear out as much as they can before Scuttle does spawn. So you're going to be over halfway past that cooldown. Flash does come back up. So we'll see if Panda does want to go into that mid lane and try and repeat gank. But before we'll see that, we're actually going to see this gank go on to the bot lane.
Oh, hook does
the
land.
Hook in. Going after the Braum now. Short B, going to get knocked out by the flag and drag. A lot of autos coming in, and the Ignite going to tick through. First blood going over to the red side. A nice early level 2 gank from the J4.
Yeah, lots of summoners burn to secure the kill. Short B's just going to be able to TP right back into the lane, so he's not actually going to miss anything, but getting first blood onto your scaling Saya is always a welcome sight.
Definitely gonna feel good. Get that Essence Reaver faster, get that wave clear going, keep that priority going in the bot lane. And that's funny thing, because during the draft, we didn't think he was really gonna focus on the bot lane too much. It's hard to gank that lane, but still made it work at the end of the day.
It's a lot easier when both of them are level 1.
True. Oh, diving underneath the tower, able to get the stun, needs one more auto to get the kill, will get it, but will sacrifice his own life in the process.
Yeah, and with both top laners having TP available, they're for sure Executioner has to TP back, but the question is whether or not Mitt's going to TP back as well, or if because it's a crashing wave, he's just going to walk back to lane. And if he walks, he might actually end up being down in XP to Execution. So even though he got the secure kill in his favor, he might actually end up losing out in terms of the overall trade.
Ooh, another hook going on in the bot lane, looking to find Short B for a second time, falling to about 300 health before he's able to get away, and pressure is just there. Lance is on point with these hooks.
Yeah, those hooks are definitely lancing right into the heart of Short B right now. Didn't it look like he was on point getting that dodge out of the way, or he went his W at that level 2 little trade in the mid lane here, but Short B does have plenty of pots to choke through, so he's not sitting in too bad of a spot here right now, but we do see Panda hovering this top side.
And there is priority going up there for Mint as he tries to push the wave in. Panda still really staring down. Urgot wants to find that kill, but it's very hard to set up.
Potential gank mid.
Still looking for it. Flag and drag goes off. Not going to find it. Never saw will be able to just walk away like nothing's even happened.
Yeah, that was just an unfortunate pickup that Neversaw was able to get a ghost, meaning he gets that free extra movement speed, extremely easy to dodge around the Jarvan EQ, which was a little bit off, to say the least anyway, but it's early game Vladimir. You're really not going to get... Ooh, Cleanse popped in the mid.
Yeah, still looking to find more. Mista is now starting to dive forward, feeling a little bit more confidence, especially with the backup with the J4 right behind him. But Neversaw should be able to get under his tower. In fact, kind of just walks on off to the side, trying to buy time for Panda to join the fight in the 2v2. But no one's really willing to pull the trigger right here. Mista might choose to do it over the wall, but just going to let the recall go.
Yeah, don't want to risk getting cocooned over the wall without any summoner spells up. So just playing it safe. Lance wants another aggressive play though.
He's going for it. He wants that lane to succeed, and well, early game Ezreal, it's something you can bully if it gets a little bit too far forward, and especially if you don't have the reaction time, those hooks will start punishing you.
Yeah, you have to definitely be on point with those fast fingers to make sure that you're not constantly eating an anchor toss to the face, because that's never a thing you want to be eating for breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
So here's one thing. Now that you got so much priority on this bot side for Rutro Gaming, you should see the J4 head towards this bot side as well to set up for a potential Drake early on, because 6 minutes in, it's Mountain Drake. This is one of the best Drakes to set up those early plate takings, and well, especially in bot lane where Skies and Lance is doing so well, they would love that additional damage to plates to start securing that gold.
What I would love to see, branching off your point, is we see the early Drake take, and ideally that would happen somewhere between 8 minutes to about 9 minutes and 30 seconds. And then I would love to see the side of Rutro Gaming go for an immediate lane swap up into the top side to take an early Rift Herald off of that, and then snowball that into first tower takes, using that pre-14 minute Rift Herald to get that big influx of guaranteed gold.
Coronado going back into his jungle, starting off on the top side. Hasn't really cleared out those golems in a while, so you want to get that reset on experience. But the good thing about that is Camstar up, it does lead a path towards that bot side once again, ending with his blue buff, so action might be happening there sometime soon for Rutro Gaming, but it does look like Panda will be focusing on the top side meanwhile.
Yeah, they will have vision of Coronado when he looks to go for that blue buff, but it looks like he's just trying to immediately path down to his bot.
There's wards there, so he will be spotted at his blue buff. Should be pinging him out sometime soon. Meanwhile, Panda over on that top side. Hook goes out, not going to land. Trying to find that gank in the top side, but Executioner has been playing it safe ever since that first death.
Yeah, he's been playing it very safe. He actually didn't even end up losing his flash, so even though Mint blew his flash in order to secure that kill, because Execution did not lose his in trade, it made it incredibly difficult for Panda to really look to try to set up there, because they haven't been able to get a stacked wave setup, because Urgot, as the ranged champion with his Q and his W, can keep the wave from getting to such a point where he's dealing with 1 to 1.5 minion waves crashing into his tower, which is really when you want to set up those two.
Strange movements coming out of Rutro Gaming. Just Coronado spending a lot of time clearing out vision towards that side where Dragon is. Still yet to really go after the Dragon in the process, though. And now you're starting to see Panda path towards his bottom side. His red buff is up, so are his golems. He does have an opportunity to gank down here. Featherstorm available for Skies. Lance would be a slightly easier target. Only time will tell if he goes for it.
Yeah, but that's an Aftershock Nautilus. They would want to force Nautilus to blow the Aftershock early before they dump any damage into him, because Nautilus without Aftershock up is an incredibly squishy champion, because his W shield, especially since you're maxing it so late, doesn't really give him all that much tanky stats.
Now the Dragon started. Ronaldo and Lance gonna do it together. No wards, but still on this bot side is Panda. That's one of the scary things right there. Panda doesn't have a ward, so will not be spotted out. This Drake is going to be free. Free Mountain Drake going over for Rutro Gaming.
And they get it during the time frame that I wanted them to, but the question is what is going to be their next step after this? What are they going to look to do, as Executioner is just tickling the plastic back of Mint in this Renekton skin with that W damage. Just a tickle.
See, if they do have that Mountain Drake, it would be a good time to be able to pick up Rift Herald and try and synergize those together, grab some plates before the 15-minute mark, but I just don't see it happening because Mint has so much pressure on this top side for the Rift Watchers. It's going to be very hard to start up that Rift Herald and not have a Karak come storming out of the river after you.
Yeah, you would really need to commit to a rotation up from your bottom lane to really be able to secure Rift Herald pre 14 minutes if you're Rutro Gaming, because without that man advantage, you're not going to be able to secure it just with how powerful this Renekton is. Isn't actually going for the Rush Shojin build, which is what we see at the highest levels of play right now, which is they just immediately go for that power spike with the Spear of Sojin, because the amount of damage that it gives you with the spell rotations you're able to get off is just absolutely insane on this champion.
You do get quite a bit of armor onto an Ergot as you build more and more, so Black Cleaver wouldn't be the worst choice. We'll have to see how that plays out, as both junglers are going to meet out on this top side. Might be a 2 versus 2 scenario. Ronaldo in the area, just killing his golems for the time being as Panda clears out the vision. Now this is tension right here because the roam up starting to come from Neversaw as well. It might be a 3 versus 2 scenario. You still have the ability to go for the tower dive, even if it is a 2 versus 2, just because of the nature of Elise, but danger's going to be there. Meanwhile, on the bot lane, looking for the depth charge. Reknep starting to get low, throws out the Glacial Fissure, trying to run away, is going to be Short B. Short B will be able to flash out and survive, but the pressure is there from Rutro Gaming's bot lane.
Yeah, Rutro Gaming pretty much having their way with this bottom lane, but a lot of credit to Short B on this actually. Another hook lane.
Yeah, going for it again. Sky's going forward, looking to find Reknep. Short B needing to back off. Very close exchange right here. You don't want to fall to another hook, and he will land it. Short B will get destroyed for so much hubris.
Yeah, and recaps might not be long for this one either. Sky's seeing a lot of turret damage though.
Oh, but he's going to survive nonetheless. Lance will walk out. Slither of health, and kind of questionable on the positioning that came out of Rekneps, because he walked forward with the shield instead of walking backwards. It might not have gotten the kill onto Skies, but it would have gotten a little bit more turret aggro and a non-zero chance to get that kill.
Yeah, it was still a well-played series of events coming in from the bot lane, coming in from Rutro Gaming, really putting their stamp down on this game, trying to keep their team in the game, because even though they have a 3-kill advantage, they're only up about 700 gold due to the CS advantages that we see in the mid and top lane.
Ooh, look at this gank that's going to go on in the mid lane. Cronaldo looking to get the flag and drag, flashed away, but now there's no more escapes for Neversaw. Stuck in the Cataclysm. One more auto would finish him off, and Cronaldo's going to flash for it. Able to get that kill onto the Zoe and start up a push.
Yeah, let's see if they choose to try to push for turret place here. We do have Panda rotating in to try to defend, so it looks like he is going to dissuade them. So it looks, despite that early Mountain Drake, we're not going to see any turret plates taken with the Rift here, or any additional plates really come down across the board.
What a shame. I mean, we got 2 plates in the bot lane, and that's pretty much it. Oh, 1 plate in the top lane as well. So 2 for 1 in terms of plates, 30 seconds left. Someone make a play and make it happen. Those plates are there for a reason. It's a piñata. Still, no one's willing to crack it. Panda in the river bush over the wall. Lance is going to notice him. Trying to set up a siege in this bot lane. Panda in clear vision here.
Yeah, this is something I want to see from more junglers in this elo bracket, is just showing up to a lane for pressure, but the re-engage!
And dying, apparently. Now Rekneps and Short B are in a world of hurt. Short B trying to walk away. There's no flash, there's no arcane shift. Waiting for that cooldown on the flag and drag as Cronaldo goes forward. We'll find it. Double knockup comes in. The snare, the roots, the double kill for Skies as Rutro Gaming is off to the races, setting up a siege of their own.
The only Rutro coming in right now is from the side of... Shoot, I'm forgetting the name of the other team right now. Ignore me.
Rift Watchers.
Watchers. This is what my play-by-play caster is for, because I can't remember these things, but Rift Watchers are definitely just saying Rutro, because right now this Xayah is completely out of control. 6-0-0 Xayah at 15 minutes. That is not a feeling you want to feel.
It was such a question mark, Primus, because we know Ezreal Braum to be such a safe lane, but Rift Watchers bot lane, they just didn't play it safely, and this is the punishment they're getting right here, right now. Ronaldo was able to play towards the more successful lane and pretty much abuse it, and this monstrous lead right now, it's really the result of that hard work in the bot side.
Yeah, a lot of very strong play coming out of Lance on the Nautilus, as well as the early gank pressure coming from Ronaldo, punishing the lane at level 1, blowing a couple summoner spells, which means that Ezreal Braum, even though it is a very safe lane, is still vulnerable to heavy CC lanes, which is exactly what Nautilus does. Skies does so much damage on this Xayah right now. There's a reason why Xayah is considered one of the strongest AD carries on this map.
Primus, it's vulnerable to getting hooked 4 times in a row within the cooldown coming back up. I think anyone's vulnerable to that. I can't even fault the Ezreal Braum in Champ Select. It's just in play right now at execution. It's not coming out the way they wanted it.
Yeah, they thought they were going into the hand with pocket aces, but right now it's coming up 7 deuce for them.
Now looking for the top lane, trying to get the games. Cocoon does miss. Executioner able to get under the tower. And the jump up to the rafters will be Panda as he picks up the kill in the process. Kill number 2 for Rift Watchers. Finally playing towards that top side. Panda trying time and time again to get those ganks. Getting some success at last.
Yeah, they finally able to get up to a gank in that top lane, but part of me wonders whether or not it's too little too late coming in.
No kidding.
Because it's... You're at the point in the game where your Crocodile's supposed to be taking over the game, and he's sitting at 1-1. His only kill was a solo kill, but Mista can't get caught out here. He almost like this come in.
Looking for something in this mid lane. The healing comes through from the hero. The auto! Mista able to survive, get a kill in the process. Cataclysm slams down and never saw, never live. It is a disaster for the Rift Watchers.
And you came up to the Vladimir, and he says, "My name is Mr. V. You do not mess with me." That is exactly what happened. One of the really nice things I want to bring up there is he cleansed the lethal damage of the Ignite to survive there. That was so clean coming in for Mr. V that right now it just looks like Rutro is very eager to punch their ticket into the dominate regular season.
Yeah, they most definitely are. This would be qualifying right here, right now, if they take this win. Another match over to Rift Watchers if they take the L, but all would not be over for their story. We still have to play one more game, but the story right now is Rutro. As they continue their map rotations, taking that top tower. They do have Shelly, but they're looking for more engages. Rekneps will be caught out in his own jungle, falling critically low, but a counter engage starts to come through thanks to that Glacial Fisher buying a lot of critical time. Now Skies out of position, jumping up, throws out the Featherstorm, but he critically low, but Mista deletes 2, finds the double kill, and he'll find a triple on top of it. Shorpy trying to survive. He does have the slow thanks to those Frozen Fists, the Iceborne Gauntlet, but Rutro Gaming, they're starting to retreat now. They got the kills they wanted. They were able to claim 3. It only cost them Skies. Shelly hitting the map.
Oh, those Skies did have a juicy shutdown flash out of Neversol. That was his real flash, ladies and gentlemen. But that was a big shutdown on Skies that they weren't able to claim, but still a overall team fight victory going over to Rutro. They have another Drake spawning here momentarily. That should be easy as pie for them. Oh, Neversol, what are you doing?
He's running. That's what he's doing. Almost getting caught out by Lance right there. Drake spawning quite soon. That Drake, that Infernal you were just talking about would be oh so juicy when your lead is this big, Primus.
Yes, sitting at 5,000 gold lead. It hit us about before he crests about the 20-minute mark here. And it's pretty much at the point in the game where Rutro cannot lose as long as they execute their composition properly. But that's still a big if. Because they're so...
They just can't lose. If we look at what Rift Watchers, there we go. That was really hard to say. I don't blame you for forgetting it. Yet the early game top side that they weren't really able to play to because of the safety of Executioner and how he played that lane. your only real contingency plan is short B and Rekneps, and they are not at critical mass yet. There's almost no way you really do win this game when Skies is this far ahead, able to finish his Essence Reaver and Rapid Fire Cannon.
Your essentially only chance is just hoping you can poke them out of objectives, but considering how far ahead Rutro is, they could just flat out force turret dives. Oh, and the cheeky smite.
Ooh,
Well,
maybe
Lance
you
is
can
out of
find
position.
disadvantageous situations like this. Able to grab a kill. Rift Watchers pick up one. It's starting to cost them structures, though, over in the top lane. Croc O'Clock once again going after that top tower will be claimed by Mint. Still, though, Rift Watchers hitting the map, just trying to defend against the movements of Rutro Gaming.
Yeah, and it's not looking too good. Like, yes, they have some potential to, if they can try to get some sequential back to back and start getting a couple more shutdowns onto their team, they might have a chance. But with that QSS now being picked up by Skies, the big target that they want to shut, along with Mr. V, who honestly, outside of that level 1, has been almost immaculate on this Vladimir. Like, I don't know if it's possible for Rutro to screw this up.
Here comes the hook, going after Panda. Panda falls critically low. Minister is waiting for him, throws out another dose of high efficiency damage and gets the kill. Now on retreat, Whiff Watchers trying to get that poke in. Flank threat goes out, going after Short B. Cataclysm slams down, and down goes Short B. Feather Storm on the back line. Look at the Croc. He's going for Skies, but he's going to find his demise as Executioner takes him down. 4 down for Whiff Watchers. Never saw the only survivor, forced to run to his base and watch Baron get taken by Rutro.
You could almost say never saw his team's defeat in this game, as Baron and most likely the game is going to end up in the hands of Rutro Gaming.
Oh, you're just begging for some breath of air if you're Rift Watchers right now, and you can't even get the blue buff. Cronaldo steals it away from Neversaw. Only fortunate thing for Neversaw is the Cataclysm was on cooldown, because that would have been his life as well.
Yes, I feel the eternal meme summarizes this game, which is all your base belong to us. That is how Rutro Gaming is playing this game. They stole the red buff, they stole the blue buff, they stole the hearts and potentially the dreams of Rift Watchers. As we said, they still have one more game. Their story is not over yet. Should they lose this game, it's still not over till the Nexus explodes, but it almost seems an inevitability.
Yeah, it's going to be a rough one. You do have a lot of poke, you do have a lot of long range if you're Rift Watchers. The wave clear is decent, it's not great. So there is a chance to turtle. The big problem is the engage from Rutro, if you do go for a turtle, is quite devastating. But that is the only place you want Rutro Gaming to take an engage. It's underneath the tower. You want some advantage working for you. And you need a 6th member, you need the tower.
They might need 7 members. They might need some minions, maybe a buff or something thrown in on top of that, because it is not looking pretty. Because not to mention you're almost 10,000 gold advantage.
Oh, they're going for the engage. Glacial Fissure rings through. Executioner is able to claim Mint. Still going forward. The drowsiness will affect Cronaldo, but not his team, as they decimate the Rift Watchers. Panda's the only one that remains. The base soon to fall.
Yes, that is going to be this tower falling eventually. Executioner taking that up. Hook is going to land. Couple more autos should be able to tank this up. They do have a little ways before that mini wave comes in, but it looks like they're not going to get anything out of this initial push. They still have a little bit of time left on Baron, I believe, so they might get one more minion push out here while they still have the Baron. So if they can technically break the base with this Baron push, that's pretty much gold standard for any Baron.
And if you're Rift Watchers, you stop going for engages. You need to rely on the poke. You drafted the Zoe and the Ezreal for a reason. The moment they got the Sleepy Trouble Bubble onto Executioner, for some reason, Mint and everyone else decided, let's go in and try and follow up on that. They can't. They're at a huge disadvantage right now. just keep poking if you're Rift Watchers.
Yeah, you just have to somehow, some way hope that Rutro makes a series of unfortunate events essentially happen.
Ooh.
Hook lands somehow
right here. Short B. His life is a little bit short right here, but the shield comes in. He will be able to survive. Fear Beyond Death doesn't find its mark. Lance over the wall, wanted to find Short B, comes up empty-handed. Actually, instead, gonna find Neversaw with another hook, but it's just aggression without kills, without real momentum just yet.
Yeah, there is another Mountain Drake spawn, so they should look to secure that. They don't have any bear buff. Oh, recap!
They keep falling for it. The Death Bush was there, and Reknips, goodbye. Dragon on the map, 4th Drake of the game, will be taken quite easily by Rutro.
Yeah, it's just not been... I don't even know a good way to describe this. Maybe it's as if Rift Watchers came into the game expecting they would be watching this game in high definition, but little did they know they would be stuck with a 18-inch 480p TV.
I mean, they definitely had a chance in this game. It's just the side of the map where they drafted their strengths to be with Mint, they weren't able to follow up off. They weren't able to do anything with it. Panda showed up there so many times, but could never get the gank, could never get the tower dive. The game plan was there, and now they're just hoping to get some form of scaling onto these poke champions like the Ezreal and the Zoe. But
yeah, because I mean, the poke will eventually start to matter. There's only one Ocean Drake. It's just the matter is I don't know if they can maintain their defenses long enough to lay out enough poke for it to matter. Because you have to know with the way Rutro have been playing, like, if they set up in a tower and they start trying to poke on the side of Rift Watchers, they're just going to force an all-in engage, and there's nothing going to be left but the enemy Nexus exploding should that happen.
And now Rutro Gaming hitting the map after a nice little reset. You can see those juicy items going through. It's getting critical mass right now. Deadman's Plate picked up by Cronaldo. Infinity Edge going to be picked up by Skies as well. It's a huge spike right there. 3 items Zaya. That is a late game ADC. That is online.
Yeah, it's just... It's almost at the point where if you are the side of Rift Watchers, you start looking towards your last game. Like, what can you do differently? Oh, Panda, you are just dead.
Start to fall apart. Mista going to take him down. Finds the kill. Baron spawning quite soon. That's the jungler down. There's going to be no smite contest. This Baron is dead to rights for Rutro Gaming.
Yeah, unless Short B somehow gets a miracle steal, this is going to be the end of the game. If you are Rift Watchers, you cannot approach this.
The death call is waiting. Rutro starting to go forward. No Cataclysm used by Cronaldo. The ice spike's thrown out. Baron started up by Rutro Gaming.
Going to be a clean, easy Baron secure.
Always gets a little bit spicy when that
required.
True Shot Barrage comes out.
It was close. It got. I think the True Shot Barrage hit at about 1k, so it was close, but no jungle required. This should just be a clean, easy end game Baron push here. 11,000, just under 11,000 gold advantage coming in for the side of Rutro, and it's just been a clinical display of how bot lane can decide a game.
So you trouble bubble, the poke starting to come in from Rift Watchers. They do paddle star after paddle star. Hook comes in from Lance. 2 more autos to get that concussive blow stun. Panda starting to come from those sidelines, looking to find a cocoon. The poke is still coming out. If you are the Rift Watchers, you do not fully engage. You try to defend, but Cronaldo is looking to stop that defense. A hook on the back line onto Neversaw. Mint starting to go forward. He's diving. He's hoping that his team can stay alive in this tournament, but ultimately becomes a pair of gator boots as the rest of the Rift Watchers start to back off. Now Rutro Gaming will reset, be able to collect their wits, take the recall, and start at Siege number 2.
Yeah, they still have about 2 minion waves left of Baron. to pressure with after they get back out on the map, so they still have a lot of time to try to secure a broken base on the side of Rift Watchers, who, I have to admit, that wasn't the worst the team fight could have gone if you are Rift Watchers. It still didn't go great,
but it
could have gone a lot worse.
It was still Mint diving forward, and that's the big thing right there. Mint needs to only play defense for his team. He can't dive for the backline because then history repeats itself. He gets annihilated, his health bar in the blink of an eye, completely gone.
Yeah, because he doesn't really have that much defensive stats. Like, he's itemizing for what appears to be a death dance when you're behind. That item's really only great if you're committing to the split push. Like, I'd much rather see a Sarah Gage coming in, but we're at the point of the game where it just doesn't matter. And I don't really agree with front row not pushing waves with Baron. Like, yes, I know Drake is spawning soon, but you still have about 30 seconds left of Baron. Try to get something done, please.
I was trying to give Rift Watchers a little bit too much respect. That is coming from that poke that we're talking about earlier, but Row Gaming, they still are in the driver's seat. They're still controlling this side of the map. You can see the wards all going down. Ronaldo over the wall will be able to grab that Ocean Drake for himself, making it the double Ocean, which will make these sieges even harder to deal with when they can just back off idle and heal.
Yeah, especially into a poke composition, it makes it so much easier because you can disengage and look to come back in and re-engage later on with pretty much impunity.
Setting up towards this bot side, Rutro will look to find a siege quite soon. Rift Watchers are moving around this map, but you got to be careful. You can't go too far forward. You can't look to find the engage. Only find the poke is the name of the game for Rift Watchers, because if they engage on you, it's going to be over. Lance will be looking for that hook. He's starting to posture up, going forward, wants to find that dredge line, throws it out, gonna take the miss for now. Inhibitor starting to get low as autos go through. Glacial Fisher finds the double knockup. Mint going from the back line. Skies able to hop over to the Skies, but finds his killing spree against it, while the rest of the squad of Front Row Gaming annihilate the backline of the Rift Watchers. Here comes the snare, but like a yo-yo never saw, comes back and gets killed. The triple kill going over to Mista. The Nexus exposed. Front Row Gaming, a dominant display, have made it into dominate.
Exactly what you want to see from a team in this play-in state. Just taking their fork and sticking it and saying, I'm sorry, Rift Watchers, your stake is done in this game. They still have one more game left to go, but as you said, Rutro has punched their ticket into the dominant tournament.
Yeah, and overall, pretty solid performance. I mean, there were some question marks about the draft, like what can a J4 really do on the bot side versus an Ezreal Braum lane? And he really didn't need to do much. It was mostly Lance who would throw out those hooks, constantly catch out short B, and then Skies and Lance from there would just snowball out of control. I mean, 9-1 and 12. That is a nasty 21.0 KDA. What more could you ask for?
Not too much more. And I mean, you have to also consider that this was with him blowing flash level, with Mista blowing flash level 1. Didn't quite have the same KP as Skies did, but still putting out so much damage on that Vladimir. Skies doing exactly what you want from your AD carry, sitting in the backline, using his ultimates at the right times to make sure he stays alive. Didn't really have too many bad situations that he was put into, just with how great his positioning was from top to bottom. But like, I still have to say, if I'd have to give an MVP, like, you'd have to give it to Lance, in my opinion. Like, Lance just completely set the tone of the game with how he played that bottom.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if we're doing MVPs or not, but as a personal opinion, I have to agree with you. Lance's hooks, pristine. That's the type of stuff you want to see out your support, and the 20.0 KDA, he cannot be denied. He was absolutely spectacular in this game. So congratulations, Lance. Congratulations to Rutro Gaming. You've made it into the tournament. You made it into Dominate League. And good luck to Rift Watchers for their next game. And speaking of next games, we're going to be getting ready for our own next game. Scorelines 2-2 is who we'll be facing off next as we continue our Dominate Premade play-ins. We'll be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Dominate Pre-Made Play-Ins. This time our team score line, it's round number 5, 2-2. You get a win, you're into the Dominate League. You get a loss, and you are out. The tournament is done. Teams playing right now, Howling Gale Gaming, as well as, well, our boy Noah, apparently. How's it going, Primus?
Yeah, I heard Noah was supposed to be our new intern, but I guess he's playing in this game, so...
Just one Noah. But bands coming out so far: Vladimir, Caitlin, and Nunu over on the side of Howling Gale Gaming. Pike, Swain, Elise. So on the other side with Noah, you do see a focus. It's going towards early game roaming champions. The Elise and Pike bands are very indicative of that. That leaves up the Akali, which is picked up by Howling Gale.
Yeah, it was played in our first game, banned in our last game. The first game, it did not get to play League of Legends until about 25 minutes into the game. But this is the first game where we have seen the Croc not get first pick. So I'm curious to see whether the Croc's going to fall entirely through picks and bans here, or if we're going to see a team pick it up later on.
I mean, you gotta keep in mind, it's Akali. She's scheduled for bans. I mean, not bans, excuse me. She's scheduled for nerfs in the next patch. She's been one of the most desired competitive champions, so one that works well in the mid to late game. Renekton, mostly an early game champion, so you got to give it a little bit of leeway. This pick coming out from Noah, our boy Noah, picking the Kaisa first.
Desero, can I ask you a serious question?
What
Can you count on one hand the number of patches where Akali has not been scheduled for a nerf?
Fair enough. I mean, we are like almost 10 seasons deep, but fair enough.
I'm talking about since she got reworked.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a lot of nerfs. It's been a lot of nerfs. You gotta give you that much credit. Also got to give credit for Noah. Took the Kaisa and immediately followed up with an aggressive support. Usually when you take the Kaisa, you go for something like a Nautilus to follow it up. Alistair works just as well, even better in some cases. And Gale Gang is what I'm going to call them for a second because I forgot the name. Howling Gale Gaming. Gonna lock in the Lucian as well as the Shen. Might be a support Shen though. This has been done before. I've even seen River Shen in the last season over in Academy of LCS, but Shen could go some weird places, man.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Like, it wouldn't be terrible going bot lane, and he is in a strong spot in terms of a solo lane, but we got the cow and the swordsman combination coming in from our boy Noah, though.
Yasuo. Yeah, you're definitely feeling it that time, because the moment you take the Alistair, you have some form of free knockup that's very, very easy to initiate because it's the standard skill. Why not take the Yasuo? But this also means that you could follow up with the jungle pick Gragas, which is typically picked with Yasuo in a lot more higher competitive leagues. They will usually take the Gragas first and then flex the Yasuo right after. It's another great setup for that last breath.
Yes, but they do have the option to ban it away on the side of Howling Gale Gaming if they so choose. Another good jungle pick you can look to pair with that is things along the lines of a Jarvan. Jarvan does a very good job of also setting up Yasuo as well. If you want guaranteed targeted knockup, you can go for a old personal favorite of mine and bring out Vi. Just to be like, I really want to make sure this guy does survive.
And there's the Gragas ban. You wished it came true, Primus. And away will be the Gragas, but our boy Noah got the first pick, and we'll have the counter pick. But imagine it's going to be a jungle pick right here. Save the counter pick for your solo lane.
Yes, so plus Yasuo still can go in both solo lanes. So it would be good to hide that flex to the last minute. Make sure you get the best possible matchup here. And Sejuani is another good pairing with Yasuo. It is a very, very difficult 2v2 for any champion to navigate.
And it's so good because it works really well with melee solo laners, so it enables you to take another melee solo laner with this, but now you have your pick of the litter because it is a counter pick. It's going to be the last pick going over to Noah.
Yes, we could see something along the lines of
and Aurelia being picked up for top lane. We could see a Camille as well if you wanted to take the Yasuo into the mid lane. If you wanted to put the Yasuo top lane, Aurelia can still go in the mid lane if you want to go that route. It is a very skill matchup so it is going to be the Shen support with the Kali going up into that top lane.
As well as the Trundle picked. Now, the Trundle is a direct response to Sejuani. You want to use that subjuge, whatever. His ultimate to steal away that health, steal away that armor, steal away that resistance. The silver lining, this is the best one we could really say, is a lot of Sejuanis in the mid game tend to go like Warmogs and Stoneplate. So Stoneplate, if you use it as an active, still gives percentage reduction. So you can still be tanky after getting hit by the Trundle ultimate, but only for 4 more seconds. It's a little bit of a gamble, but it's a silver lining you can try and work with as the Poppy gets locked in for Noah.
Yes, and I am actually a huge fan of the Poppy pickup into the composition that Howling Gill Gaming has drafted. Even though it is not going to be a fun laning matchup into the Akali, Poppy has positive interactions with every single champion on the side of Howling Gill Gaming in terms of her W. The only person who does not have a dash is Trundle. Plus, you also have to remember that her W, if you dash in it, does count as a knockup for Yasuo.
That it's a ground now.
Yes.
It got that buff. This is a very potent, steadfast presence in the current iteration of it.
And I think with the change to her ultimate, her Snapcast does allow Yasuo to ult off of it too.
You got some spicy stuff with this Poppy pickup. I echo your thoughts completely, though. I definitely love it because 4 out of the 5 champions, as you were saying earlier, have a dash, and especially the Akali in the mid game. She just loves to jump around and find those backline assassinations, really utilizing that shroud. Poppy is one of the best tools to make sure your carry stays safe.
Yes, I'm pretty sure if Riot were designing Akali and had a song playing in the background, I'm pretty sure it was Jump Around was going on in the background when they were making that champion. But like, Poppy is one of those champions which I don't think he sees enough play, just because she does so much damage even if she builds full tank, just because of the power of her hammer shock. It does so much percent health max damage. She has so much utility while being incredibly tanky. It's something that I wish more teams would be willing to pick up, because even though, yes, it's kind of counterintuitive to how the general style is, which is basically more damage is better, but if you have enough beef, it doesn't matter how much damage the enemy team have. They have to cut through a cow, a boar, and a yordle with a giant hammer. That's a lot of beef to cut through if you're Howling Gale Gaming, and it's not like the other guy, Noah, is going to be dealing with the possibility of being too much AD damage heavy, because they have the Kaisa who does a lot of mixed damage. You can go for the AP Kaisa route. Like, it's not like they have that potential weakness in their composition as well. Like, I just love what Noah has drafted, but they have to be able to get to their item timings in the mid game before Howling Gale can take over, because they have a very, very powerful composition from about 15 minutes to about 25 minutes. That's their golden time.
Honestly, they have a great composition for setting up a split push and doing skirmish fighting from Howling Gale Gaming. And that's the thing here. We keep looking at it in like a bubble, like what happens in a team fight. If Howling Gale Gaming are going to find success, they're not looking for a straight 5v5. They're looking for these very all over the place fights, these skirmishes in the jungle and choke points where they could just roam around, use the terrain to their advantage, be able to dash over it, back over. Ari can do it, Akali can do it, even Lucian can do it. They're looking for very scrappy skirmishes. On the other hand, Noah will be looking for team fights once they get to a certain phase. They will set up a split pusher of their own in the Yasuo, but once again, Yasuo does need 2 items before he comes online to get that 100% crit.
Yes, and I'm going to be a little bit curious to see whether or not he forestalls getting that 100% crit and either goes with Phantom Dancer first item to deal with the Ari all-in, or if he goes Shiv into PD. Not Shiv into PD, Shiv into Starrett's Gauge for that same reason, because the burst potential on the enemy side is a definite threat to Yasuo, so I'm very curious to see how Anthem on this Yasuo chooses to itemize against it. Because if you can survive the upfront burst, there's really not a great amount of consistent damage coming in from the side of Howling Gale Gaming.
That's the thing. Even if, upfront burst, yeah, it's absolutely terrifying. But the big thing is you just want to go in with that last whisper. And then, of course, not last whisper, excuse me, last breath. Of course, put up that wind wall. And there you go. You don't need the defensive stats if you have the wind wall up to block those projectiles for you. Of course, this is all based on positioning and ideal timings and everything. But it's a very easy to execute thing. And it's why I still expect them to go a very offensive route, going for that 100% crit right away, because that is the strength of Yasuo. That's what you're going for when you lock in this champion.
Okay, but there's one more immortal question we have to ask.
Oh boy.
Is this gonna be my team's Yasuo or your team's Yasuo? That is the question we have to answer here.
Is it going to be the 2-item spike or the 10 death spike? Which one is it going to be?
That is the immortal question.
Only time will tell, my friend. And we're going to take a little bit of time to take a break and get ready to get on to the Rift. Last game of the night, it is the 5th round. Howling Gale Gaming versus Noah. Winner heads over to the Dominate League, while loser, it's a farewell for now. We will be right back with more Risen Esports. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Risen Esports Dominate Pre-Made Play-Ins. Matchup right now, Howling Gale looking to take on our boy Noah, is what we just keep calling him. And once again, both of these teams 2-2 apiece. Winners out. Winners in, excuse me, losers out.
It is a winner-take-all game, and this is the second game in a row we're seeing a little bit of a cheeky level 1 coming in here.
Yeah, might go for an invade. You got the Alistair. Alistair's usually all you need. Some type of hook champion would be the only thing more ideal than good old Alistair. Get that knock up home on the range. Still not going for the invade just yet. They're really timing this one out. Probably expecting a counter invade, and they just want to catch it on the way in.
Yeah, you don't really want to face check either of these teams if they're stacked. Like, face checking into a Shen, face checking into an Alistair. Not a fun time here, though. I think the important question is that we did see Antium is not taking the Inter Yasuo skin, which is Project Yasuo. We went with Blood Moon Yasuo. Still not the best Yasuo skin. Best Yasuo skin is 100% High Noon Yasuo. You can't tell me otherwise.
Blood Moon. I'm with Blood Moon on that one. I feel it.
Well,
I feel he's got it.
Disagree.
Then again, it is Yasuo. I don't know how to feel about it. Let's just continue with this game right now. Chicken Hunter starting on the red side. We'll be going for the farming route as he goes after the golems. Zwani does a lot of damage to champions, so we should say. But one of the big things is how well she works with melee champions, because helps her really stack up those procs to get her stun.
She's got quite a few of those on their team.
Yeah. So you get the lockdown, you get the crowd control. There's layers of it just waiting to happen. Really, if Real Madru uses his Shroud at the wrong time, he can be in all sorts of trouble.
Good use of the level 2 coming in from the bot lane, forcing out Kai'Sa's flash. But, like, the biggest thing about any top lane, I'm going to talk a lot about this because Poppy's a great champion and everyone should be playing her, is I love watching how Poppy's play around her passive and her trade pattern, which is E into Q. Because, like, if they are able to punish properly, they can win every lane matchup because it's so easy to proc grass. You have a 300 range auto attack that's on a 24-ish second cooldown at rank 1. So, like, that's literally a free grasp every 24 seconds.
But that changes a little bit against the Akali matchup. Of course, earlier you can get that poke in and really punish the Akali. The big thing is Akali's first item, it's the Gunblade. That's when the sustain comes in, and that's when that matchup just completely shifts on its head, and might have a gank going for the top side. Gonna show up will be 2 Teef Weef, but on the bot side, headbutt pulverize.
Lots of damage on the...
Lucian trying to run away, but the taunt from Kim Jong Carry. The auto comes through, and its baby is able to get first blood as he goes for more. Howling Gale, good start.
Yeah, the cheeky little double autos coming in after the dash, able to secure the kill onto Math 32A, but that was just a great re-engage with the taunt coming from Kim Jong Carry to secure that first blood for this Lucian, and that's exactly what the doctor ordered if you're Howling Gale game.
I want to say that name, Primus. Kim Jong Carry, are you real? Oh lord, oh lord, oh lord, the momentum still there in the top side. All meanwhile, Real Madru. I always have to, man, I should really say these names before the game just to catch myself back up, because people make some wonky names, Primus.
Yes, my favorite is when people have special characters, and as a coach, I have to try to figure out how to enter it into the OPGG to figure out exactly what their person plays. That's my personal favorite.
But so far, this game going very, very slow, being played slowly, and you can't really blame it. Sejuani usually looks for a little bit more high tempo after a couple of recalls, get that first recall in, be able to get that back. Trundle, more of the responsive jungler, trying to track out where the Sejuani is and react accordingly. So just going to be a slow game until the first movements from Chicken Hunters start hitting the map.
Yeah, I think they might be waiting for Chicken Hunter to level 6 before they look for any aggressive plays with him, especially considering they won't have lane priority on the top side, and mid lane's going to be kind of hit and miss in terms of lane priority, in terms of the Yasuo and Ahri matchup. So he's probably just going to look to play it slow, because if he runs into a 2v2 situation where Trundle is there, they're not going to win that 2v2 despite having dual melee solo laners, just because Trundle is just such a superior dueler than Sejuani is.
I'm not sure. I've never heard that before, especially with current Sejuani. People usually refer to her as as the assassin Sejuani, because her base damages are actually kind of ridiculous. In the early game, at least, she is a little bit of an assassin in her own right. But there comes the knockup, and Tim starting to roam his way down towards Kim Jong carry. Takes a load of damage. Flash is barely coming off cooldown. It was ambitious, it was there, but ultimately, no kill will go through.
It's just, yes, Sejuani does have very high base damages, but you also have to remember the fact that Trundle is a auto-attack reliant champion who is taking press the attack into a champion who is running Aftershock. So once Aftershock is down, Trundle is still getting that boosted damage out over the extended trade. So yes, Sejuani has very high base damages, but especially once the level 6 comes through, like, Trundle will pretty much win any 2v2 with the Sejuani there, assuming things are timed properly with it when he pops his subjugate. Because if he pops subjugate too early, then the Sejuani can still get Aftershock off, still be relatively tanky, and allow his his carries to do the damage they need to do.
Oh, the big thing is if you can get the subjugate while the Aftershock is active, you're actually stealing a lot more stats than really does look like. That'd be great if 2T
basically
pull
puts
that off,
snipes.
but
Yeah.
it's a little bit of a niche move to pull.
Yeah. Yeah, it basically put situations like that. Oh, but Chicken Hunter is invading.
Yeah, looking to find stun. Chicken Hunter getting all sorts of damage in with the Arctic Assault, finds the knockup, and Tim shows up to grab the kill.
Yeah, and yeah, that's kind of one of those situations where you face check something blind, and you don't actually get to set up the 2v2 properly. Smite coming in from Chicken Hunter. Just secure it.
Stun into the wall. Able to follow it up with the double
another
stun.
stun.
Layer up CC. Flash comes out. Rill is able to survive, gets under his tower, will be fine, but they're looking to set up a pincer right here. They want to dive this Akali. Started off with proxying the wave, but starting to move up is 2T Weave. Be able to match
still not
this.
level 6 though.
It's going to be a 2-on-1 scenario. It's a level 7 Akali. All meanwhile, still there, Chicken Hunter able to walk away.
Yeah, they are able to walk away. They do get the blue buff. They do get a kill as Real Madrid trying to get an aggressive in the top lane with the Cutlass, but so things are not very happy right now if you're Super Saiyan. Is down a fair chunk of CS in that top lane.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Actually, taking a look at the gold itself, it's only about 200, so it's not terribly bad, but that's where it starts, really. It's Akali. You don't want her having any lead. You don't want her having that gunblade. She's already got the bilge water. Making the next components of it will be her goal until she finishes it off, and that's the sustain right there. That's one of the worries of Super Saiyan.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a Poppy. She's still gonna scale, still gonna be a very, very tanky little Yordle Knight. So, like, it's not the worst case of situations for the Poppy to be behind. Especially considering she is going into double AP solo lanes, which means it's very easy itemization. Probably gonna look to go into an early adaptive helm. Would like to see something along the lines of like a Warmonks and a Bramble Vest after that, just so that way you have the Bramble Vest to deal with the Akali healing, plus you have the Warmogs, which really allows you to stay in the side lane. Because that's really one of the biggest weaknesses of tanks when they're playing against champions who want a sideline, is they don't have the inherent sustain to stay in lane against the split pusher, which is what the Warmogs really helps with.
And of course, keep in mind, if you do itemize against magic damage, you're also itemizing against the Lucian in the process, because that's going to be a Blade of the Rune King built first from its baby. So get that on-hit magic damage, be able to nullify a little bit of that. You're still going to have to deal with the AD, but it is an early game build on top of that. One of the things about that early game build about getting that Blade of the Rune King is past 25 minutes, it starts to fall off.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what. Well, I mean, Bork still is fairly standard as a first item. It's just whether or not he chooses to go into the Blind Cleaver. But we're having an engage in the bot lane.
Yeah, able to get the knock up as well as the knock back. Looking to find Kim Jong Carey. Wants to find stun, just barely out of range. Will get the stun, followed by the knock up. So much damage going through, but the teleport is being channeled. Joining the fight will be Real Madru, but still will not get close enough in time to start finding those kills. Actually got a change head going after Antim. The Glacial Prison goes out over the wall. He's unable to find it. The knockup goes through, and there's the last breath trying to find Real Madru. Real Madru will be assisted by the Stand United. The rest of the squad of Noah will get under the tower.
Yes, but that does give some very nice free time to Super Saiyan in that top lane. They will also have TP advantage here in about 2 minutes if they want to make a counterplay down in that bot side of the map, considering nobody died and they get a TP out. This is a very strong win for the side of that guy Noah, but they do lose the Ocean Drake on the other side, which is never a happy thing, but considering the stage of the game, not the worst prize to end up losing.
Now, the big question mark is going to be Shelly, the Rift Herald. On the map right now. Curious to see which one will go after it first, as Super Saiyan in the top lane going after Real Madru. Still, the damage is coming in from Real Madru, walking a little bit too close. Will get wall slammed in the process. Another chain of CC, and Real Madru goes down to the 1v1.
Yeah, that's just the power of the Poppy. It's 1 CC into your double proc Q, and that's just a absurd amount of damage. Plus the Keeper's Verdict. It's just really, really difficult for Squishy champions to deal with, especially when they're not expecting that level of damage, because it's a tank. Usually don't expect tanks to do that much damage. Probably going to be able to get one more turret plate off of this, maybe. If not, that's still 2 turret plates to a Poppy.
It's not even the turret plates. It's the fact that Super Saiyan was able to stay up in the face of the turret and hold priority because there's no one to really defend against it, and that is what enables the Rift Herald to be taken. As you can see, Chicken Hunter has it right now. Might be looking to spawn it soon.
I'd love to see them use it mid lane.
Yeah.
They have a 3-man pincer coming in onto Zamog. He's not gonna be on.
Yeah, but unfortunately, the Glacial Prison does not land, so no gank attempt to be seen in the mid lane. Say gank attempt goes out, it's just not successful in the mid lane. It's looking to back off, scouting out the movements for the time being. Kim Jong-gary watching the members of Noah start to head towards this bot lane. It's going to be 4 members strong if they choose to set up a dive down here. It's what they might be going for. Headbutt Pulverize goes out, but not going to find the knock up in the right place.
30 seconds. Oh, this is a real cocky Rift Herald charge.
Yeah, Kim Jong-gary could have gone forward and tried to get the taunt. I'm not sure if it was on cooldown, but
the question is this going to be a dive?
And able to get 80 gold apiece. A nice surgence of gold. It's not going to get you first brick, but it's all you really need. 80 gold apiece. What could you ask for?
I could ask for a lot of things, but that doesn't mean we necessarily get them this round. Let's be honest here. But I mean
either that or just take a little bit of an overstay and get pounded in the process.
Yeah, let's try to avoid that, because that extra 80 gold is going to mean it's going to be a little bit easier for that guy Noah's players to get to their crucial item timing. Taunt is going to miss.
Oh, looking to back off now. In that front line, Mana Pies taking all sorts of damage as the calling goes out, but the ultimate will be used by Mana Pies. Lower that incoming damage. Right place, right time for 2 Teeth Weep, but no kills will be picked up. Recall coming out of Mana Pie, and I'm surprised they're not setting up for a tower dive in this bot lane right now. It would be an opportune time to go for it. You do have Kim Jong-gary to initiate it, or even 2 Teeth Weave to initiate it, and that is exactly why Math 32 is backing off.
Yeah, but they do have to keep in mind there is a TP available, but it looks like it is just going to be first tower going over to the side of Elegant.
Yeah, response will not be answered in time. Start to move down is Chicken Hunter, as the rest of the squad with him. Chicken Hunter gonna throw out the ultimate, whiffs it for a third time. He hasn't been able to land it on the mark just yet, but the knockup will still come through. It's Baby will fall first. Kim Jong Carry, one more auto away from getting stunned, and there comes that stun, there comes that kill. Still diving deeper, Killer Instinct goes off. Chicken Hunter is taking the tower, will never fall to it. 2T Fleef is surviving with the subjugate, but Matt32 finally gets the kill onto him. It's a dive, it costs you jungler, he picks up 3, and he gets some alone time with this tower if you're the squad of Noah. Meanwhile, another turret time.
Too aggressive.
Real Mad Drew, fighting off more than he can chew.
Yeah, that's a fairly tanky Poppy. You don't, like, I appreciate the attempt, because if had he been able to get that, that would have given him a lot of gold, but he just doesn't have the damage. That Poppy is just so tanky with sitting on a full Spectres plus Merc Treads on top of it. That's just a lot of magic resist to cut through with no pen to back it up. Just had that Gunblade power spike for the Ecology.
And Primus, like, you're going for the dive, but do you really need to in that situation? You could just let Super Saiyan go for the recall, then you get some alone time with that tower. I mean, objectives are greater than the kills. I do feel like there's a bit of greed coming out of Real Madru as lane swaps start coming out.
Yeah, it was a little bit of over-aggression, but you have to think of it from a player perspective, is you just had this really bad situation happen bot lane. So psychologically, he might have felt like, I have to go for this play, I have to be able to be in a position to carry, which is where that solo queue mentality comes into play. One of the biggest things is you have to be able to allow yourself to get carried.
Skirmish breaking on in the bot lane. Look at the roam coming up, and Tim will be showing up soon, and Mana Pies will get you that free knockup. There's no flash on Mana Pies, so not gonna be able to get in range in time to get that knockup. Starting to turn around. Ward was placed. Control Ward will nullify it. Still trying to bait in the squad of Howling Gale Gaming to bite onto the last breath, but it's not going to be taken. They rather just play the laning phase.
It is a little late for a laning phase, but the outer towers are still mostly up on both sides, so really we can't really say the laning phase is over until all the outer towers are down. But you have to say right now the pace of the game is definitely favoring the side of that guy Noah. It's just whether or not they can continue their aggressive play and their aggressive moves around the map into their very heavy mid game point. But here comes the dive.
Back up, here comes Chicken Hunter. He's going straight after the ADC. It's Baby will fall to and Tim. Kim Jong Carry not long for this. World falls to the auto of Math32. 4 men strong. Noah just dominating this top side. Gonna look to grab a turret as their reward.
Yes, and another thing I want to point out on the back side is a very nice rotation coming in from Super Saiyan, rotating to that mid lane, knowing that the Ahri was pushing that in while they have a secure tower in the top side. But that was a great ultimate coming in from Chicken Hunter on that bot, on that top lane dive, immediately catching out its Baby. So he could not really do anything in that fight until he was already down to about a couple hundred HP.
Yeah, and now with that victory, we're getting closer and closer to that critical point. You can already see Math32 close to finishing up his second item, and so is Tim, and that's one of the big ones right there. That Infinity Edge onto the Yasuo is what spikes him in power. It makes him devastating to deal with as he sets up the split push.
Yeah, it's getting to the point where the Yasuo is at a point where he can pretty much do whatever he wants in the side lane. Doesn't quite have that 100% crit. Still probably needs about 1,800 gold, I want to roughly, for that Infinity Edge to come through. But once that item comes through, it's game on. Gray screens to be had for the enemy team.
This Howling Gale on the top side. It's going to be responded to by Noah in the mid lane as they go for an instant engagement. They're going to run away. Zamal getting critically low. The missile going to be intercepted by Kim Jong Carry. Math32 taking a bit of tower aggro. Bats it off or sets it. Now it's going to be Chicken Hunter who has it thanks to that Cinder Hulk. But the turret does fall. Another knockup to come out from Mana Pies as the calling getting called. Math32 goes down. Mana Pies gets cut. And the rest of the squad of Howling Gale Gaming, they finally have that breath of fresh air.
Yeah, they get a very nice collapse on an overextension onto that mid lane. They tried to go for the dive onto an Ahri who just has so much mobility, and that last minute Shen ulti coming in able from Kim Jong-carry, able to keep Zamog alive long enough that Chicken Hunter had to retake turret aggro. They're going to be able to get this tier 2 in the mid lane as payment. So the game, even though it is still in the favor of that guy Noah, the pace has shifted, and some much needed gold went back into the pockets of Howling Gale.
Yeah, but Howling Gale aren't going to be able to get too much tempo. As you can see, the wards, the control wards coming down are from Noah over on this Baron side. One river ward on the bot side as well coming out from Noah. They are taking the recall, so they're forfeiting a little bit of time with this map, but they need to cash in very desperately. That being said, though, It's Baby is still a mid-game champion, being on that Lucian, going for the Black Cleaver as well as the Blaze of Rune Key. You need crit if you're going to be in the late game. Flashing away is going to be 2 Teeth Weave. So you still kind of are on this ticking time bomb. That's something that's going to be kept in mind for Howling Gale Gaming as they continue to try and fight against the menace of Noah's going forward, able to get the last breath, the knock up onto Madru, who flashes away to be able to survive, but getting charmed up is going to be at Tim. Tim still goes forward, still trying to find that backline. Claim something. Health bars get low, but he drops. A kill goes over to Chicken Hunter, but still going forward is the squad of Noah. They're together as 4, standing strong as a team. Zamog, Spirit rushes away. Super Saiyan being that frontline defender, and 3 go down for Howling Gale, only costing Noah and Tim.
I just want to say that Super Saiyan went into that fight with full HP and still has full HP. Just popping things, boys. Albeit a lot of the damage did go into Chicken Hunter. He's so fairly tanky on that Sejuani, but they get the trade back on the mid lane tower. They get 3 more kills, only losing 1 in the process. They have complete Baron vision set up right now with Drake spawning soon. It's just a very strong performance right now coming from Noah here, and I want to see what their next step is going to be from this very powerful position, especially with Drake spawning and the amount of wards they have around the Baron.
Drake spawning in the next couple of seconds. Noah looking to take the recall. This will be a good time for Howling Gale Gaming. Take the opportunity to take that Drake while Noah cannot reply to it, just hitting the map right now. But they're going Baron side instead. They value that vision a little bit more than the Ocean Drake, which means Howling Gale should be able to pick up this Ocean Drake unanswered. Noah don't want to take the team fight right now. Actually, Noah would love to take the team fight right now. Excuse me, I'm kind of going backwards here. There we go. Howling Gale going forward. They'll claim the Ocean.
Yeah. So that is another Ocean going over. Not the greatest of Drake rolls if you are the side of Howling Gale, but you're taking what advantages you can get here. Oh, and Tim.
And Tim's all by himself, 4 members around him. 3-man knockup coming out from Man of Pi. Super Saiyan trying to be that defender one more time, but Man of Pi is trying to get low. Here comes the teleport. Keeper's Verdict gonna knock 1 away, getting Kim Jong-carry out of this fight, but looking to run away. Super Saiyan gets shut down at the hands of Real Madru. Man of Pi is falling to Zamog, and Howling Gale, they are alive. They claim the solo laners, they claim the support, and they're looking to claim Baron up next.
However, Chicken Hunter is still alive. He has a level advantage for this smite. If they risk it, it could just be the end of the game. If that Baron Steel is able to come in from Chicken Hunter, they don't really have a great way to stop him. We'll see what happens.
Baron's getting lower and lower. Chicken Hunter still watching the area quite closely. Doesn't have vision on the area. There is a control ward there. Chicken Hunter gets the stun onto Real Madru. Still critically low is this Baron. 2,000 health remains. Chicken Hunter cannot get close enough. Instead, we'll go after the kill onto Real Madru. Real Madru goes down. Baron will go over to Howling Gale Gaming as the ultimate's going to be used onto 2. He's going to use the subterfuge to be able to get some of those defensive stats. But on his tail is Super Saiyan, who will get the wall slam. The damage goes through. Matt 32 gets the kill. Here comes the choke point coming out from Chicken Hunter, who goes after Samog. There's no more Spirit Rush. So and Tim is gonna be able to eat this kill and pick it up so easily as Chicken Hunter claims it. A huge team fight win coming in for Noah. Baron onto Howling Gale, but it's only gonna be used to stop the siege of Team Noah.
Yeah, but there are no minions. They still have about 10 seconds before that wave comes back in here, but they are going to be able to secure this tower.
Oh, able to get the knockup, take it down, It's Baby! Kim Jong-carry runs for the hills, able to get to safety, but could not save his ADC. Now more room for Noah to work. They deconstruct the tower. They're gonna go after Real Madru, who needs to throw down that shroud to be able to stay alive. 2 Thief Weep going in, wants to put up the subjugate, but it is on cooldown, only has the pillar to work with, and those autos, trying to find the knockup, and Tim will knock up Real Madru, will kill Real Madru. 2 Thief Weep going forward, and Tim wants to find Kim Jong, but gets dropped by him. Super Saiyan now on the run, inhibitor exposed, but not down. Howling Gale, it's the best of a bad situation. You leave with your base intact.
Your base is intact, but the door is left open for Noah to come in and claim that inhibitor at a time of their choosing. They still have about 30 seconds or so left on the Baron on Kim Jong carry. If they can try to get some lanes pushed out, they can look to try to do some damage. But that Baron may have just been a gold reset coming in for the side of Howling Gale.
With your inhibitors up, you still have room to work if you're Howling Gale Gaming. So it's not disastrous, but it's not looking good as well. As we said, its baby is on a mid-game champion. He's already had that mid-game spike. Howling Gale, they would need the gas pedal right now, but no one is doing as well as its baby, and that is the problem that they're kind of struggling with right now. Meanwhile, over on the side of Noah, everyone is doing well. Everyone has a slice of the pie.
Yeah, it's like its baby went all in on this mid-game build, is looking to try to get into that Essence Reaver now, but it might be too little too late, as we do have a cow hovering on the flank here, but Tim is not here yet.
Yeah, and here comes the engagement. Chicken Hunter gonna go forward, being that front line, looking to get the stuns. Out from the sidelines comes Super Saiyan, looking to find 2 Thief Weep, but Matt will fall. There, down he goes. Glacial Prison goes down, able to get the knockback. It's baby, still getting those autos in. Needs to run away from Chicken Hunter. A few more autos will get that kill, and he claims it. Its baby is alive, and Tim is not. Super Saiyan on the run. Howling Gale Gaming, they've taken down 4. Is it enough, Primus? Is it enough to take the game?
I don't think so. They have 20 seconds to get through. I think they can only get an inhibitor off of this. It is a great team fight, but that was a massive mistake coming in from the side of Noah. They took a team fight when Tim was still in the mid lane and could not contribute to the fight. It cost them an inhibitor, could end up costing them the game here, as an Infernal Drake is now going to spawn, which is going to be the consolation prize for a team fight victory coming in for the side of Howling Gale, and gold is now even.
And Primus, of all inhibitors to take, it's a bot lane inhibitor that Noah are now missing. And that is where you're gonna need to send your split pusher to deal with it, to deal with that super minion pressure. Bot lane is the furthest away from Baron. Baron not on the map right now, so they will not have to deal with that pressure just yet. That's something that's gonna be in their mind in the next couple of minutes.
Yeah, it is going to be something very cognizant, and something they do have to deal with. They can't make another mistake with that. They have a death ball composition, but they need all 5 pieces to be there for it to be a death ball. They can't just have one piece hiding, but they're trying to get a counter push into the mid lane while the supers are still outside of their base, but they only have about 15 seconds.
This is so high risk right here. They're going straight up for a brute force, but they can't find any way to get the engagement onto Howling Gale Gaming. They can't do it. It's not worth it in the mid lane where there's still a tower available. So they're rotating over towards this top lane, clear out the wave. There's no tower there. There's an inhibitor exposed. And if you want to match inhibitor for inhibitor, that's the lane to do it in.
Yeah, but they have to reset because that wave is going to start getting closer to their base. By the time the resets come in, we'll have entered their base. They're taking what gold they can on the way out, but that was a good attempt to try to do something, but I think they chose the wrong lane to try to look to pressure in. They should have looked to shove in the lane and then immediately look for that top lane open in him.
Now pushing the mid lane, Howling Gale. Starting to try and get some priority over this mid lane. You control the mid lane, you get a little bit of access towards this river and establishing some vision of your own. That's exactly what Howling Gale are doing as they try and clear it out using those sweeping totems. Finally get that vision away from the Baron, away from Noah, and get yourself in a superior position if you're Howling Gale.
Yes, they're in a very strong position in terms of vision control right now. They have about 30 seconds, does Noah, for that bot lane to get into their base and start threatening Nexus Tower. Since it isn't side lane, it will take a Nexus Tower by itself. They have to play this extremely carefully. They have to use this window. Once Tim gets in position, they're going to have about 10 seconds before someone has to go to respond to that bot lane, but they're going to be going in entirely blind.
We have an old Western standoff right here, and Chicken Hunter is going forward. Out comes the pillar. No one's willing to pull the trigger just yet. Got to watch closely on that Glacial Prism because Chicken Hunter hasn't been the most accurate with them. If he's able to land it on a primary target, that could be the team fight win right there, set and done for Noah, because you know the knockup will follow. And that is exactly what Howling Gale are respecting.
But the bot lane,
while they respect
supers.
Exactly. Supers in the bot lane. There's only so long you can play this game with Howling Gale Gaming.
Yeah, they have to pull the trigger now, otherwise they lose their base. They do have Super Saiyan backing, but that means he has to TP back into the team. That's going to take time.
The Supers are hitting the Nexus Towers now. Howling Gale Gaming surrounding this Baron. Only one recall came out from Noah. They still have their jungler there. They still have the smite contest if they need it. Baron has been started by Howling Gale. Coming in from one flank will be and Tim. Looking to find that flank, get the last breath off of whatever knockup that Manapice or Chicken Hunter can provide for him.
Not a great ward to TP to. That's only the TP ward in the pit if they're going to go for the TP.
Ooh, that 6k
looks like
help
they're going
right
to concede
now.
it.
Control wards are doing so much work for Howling Gale Gaming. They can't get close to this. They don't know what the HP is. Manapice is starting to go forward, and here comes the teleport. You're looking for the engagement now. Looking to go forward is Noah, but they're trying to find his baby. His baby's so close to be done, and Tim critically low, and Tim able to flash away, but Kim Jong-Gary will take him down. Now Matt 32 fighting on this backline, flashes forward. Here comes the Stand United. It's not enough to keep his baby alive. Your ADC's down, man. Noah's going forward. Noah is feeling this. Noah wants to head into the Dominate League, and they're gonna show how right now if they take down his baby. They take down Kim Jong-Gary, but your base is still under attack. There's still super minions in it. There's still a threat you have to deal with. And Howling Gale, the flash coming out to survive. 2 T-Fleet still in it. This is tense right here. You can cut it. It's in the air. It's with a knife's edge.
Yeah, this game can go either way here. It's been a lot of great vision denial play coming out from the side of Howling Gale. That's been their biggest advantage so far in the course of this game. The inhibitor does now respawn. That's a big, big sigh of relief coming in. If you're Noah, you don't have to worry about supers in your bottom lane anymore, but you do have to worry. The Akali hasn't looked for play that split push, but she has that option. She's almost at her death cap. When that comes in, that backline of Matt 32 is extremely vulnerable to this very, very soon to be very powerful Akali, and they're going to get a double Infernal to top it all off.
Yeah, smart move to come out of Howling Gale, going straight for that Infernal before Noah could respond. Now getting some damage on the Chicken Hunter, but there comes the last from Tim! Able to get 4 man off the knockup! 2 T-Fleet, so close to being stunned, but Chicken Hunter nowhere near here! And Tim will still take him down, and the rest of the squad of Howling Gale, they've lost one. They're on retreat. Noah's starting to go forward now. Super Saiyan wants to find that wall stun, and Manapice will help set it up for him. Looking for the headbutt, pulverized, smashed into the wall, and absolutely deleted is the Mog. Your jungler down, your mid laner down. Howling Gale only have their carries, only have the top laner, only have the ADC to try and defend against this momentum that's coming out of Noah.
I don't think this is the right call coming in from Noah, though. I think the right call is taking the easy bot lane tier 2. They're looking to play cross map, trying to take this Baron off the table while the jungler is still dead. While it still can work, you still have to deal with this very strong Akali. The solution, he's at 3 items. If they look to contest, this could be catastrophic. They do have a lot of damage, though.
There's no teleport on Super Saiyan. Looking to go forward is Howling Gale. They're not going for the engage right now. Super Saiyan is still not there. Baron-powered recalls are going to be used from Noah. They're going to be able to get out with this highway robbery and grab the Baron.
Yeah, they get out with the Baron. Now they have the ability to start pressuring the map. However, it is still incredibly difficult for their team composition to effectively siege towers because they're 4 melee champions and a Kaisa. They have to look to set up dive If Mana Pies can get another massive engage on that Alistair once again, it will mean game, set, match on to dominate lead with the golden ticket coming in for the side of Noah.
You would love it if you could get it, but that's the thing right there. It is a mission to be able to find that knockup because it's so telegraphed. A bull walks up at you at full speed. He's looking for the knockup, and you give it the respect it deserves. All that being said, though, state of the game, looking for the siege right now will be Team Noah. 2 minutes, 50 seconds till Elder is on the map. We aren't getting any more elemental drakes. This is a double Infernal, double Ocean, Team Noah, who are walking up the top lane to try and close this one out.
Yeah, big thing I do want to mention coming into this team fight. Matt 32 has a stopwatch for the Akali dive. If they go for it, this inhibitor will fall, but whether or not Howling Gale chooses to contest a potential second inhibitor play is going to be a massive decision that they will have to make here in the next 30 to 40 seconds.
Smart move to come out of Howling Gale Gaming, forfeiting that inhibitor. It's a top inhibitor. That's definitely not the worst thing to give up at this stage of the game, but a little bit down the line, it is going to cause them some trouble because 2 minutes until Elder Drake does spawn. So before that Elder Drake spawns, they need to shove that wave up if they're going to contest that Elder Drake, because that is a 5-stack Elder Drake Primus. If they get it, they can team fight a win without even playing it cleanly.
Yeah, the amount of damage that's going to give them with the equivalent of 3 Infernal Drakes, 3 Ocean Drakes, they're going to be incredibly powerful if they can hit that timing properly, but that's going to be a very troublesome inhibitor with that Drake spawn, but they still have to deal with this slow Baron siege coming in from the side of Noah.
Yeah, they're pushing in. They don't really have much in terms of tools to siege because they're so short range. I mean, you have 3 melees, you have the Kaisa, which is another short range ADC, and then of course Yasuo, who's another melee. I don't know why I said 3 melees, it's 4 melees in total, but you're basically only sieging with these cannon creeps right here, and this is not how you should be playing the game. It has to have some sort of split push and split up Howling Gale, but this is going to be it right here. They're going to brute force the fight, looking to go forward. They're going to find 1 kill. Math diving on the back line, looking to find number 2 onto its baby. Still going forward. Math is a madman as he goes after kill.
Nice stopwatch.
And that's through. He falls to him as well as the triple kill goes over to Math 32A, and that is the clean ace right here. Team Noah, they lose Math, who played out of his mind, who played like a madman, a man on a mission. That mission right here to get into the Dominate League, and damn well he just did as the final Nexus turret falls. The Nexus is exposed. 37 minutes into the game, 25 kills, 15 deaths. Noah, take it.
A great performance coming in from Noah. Congratulations to them for qualifying into the Dominate regular season performance. Well played coming in from them. And unfortunately, commiserations have to go over to the side of Howling Gale. They made so many nice little plays throughout the course of the game.
Yeah.
But in the end, they were stuck doing algebra to Math 32's defeat queue.
It was definitely rough for this squad. I mean, you did take the Akali, you took the Lucian, you're looking for something in the mid game, you're looking for a split push, but the momentum that came out of the squad of No just wouldn't let that happen. I mean, Chicken Hunter was always looking for ganks. Even though we might scoff at him a little bit for missing all of those glacial prisons, he was throwing them. He's still attempting ganks, and that's a little bit more than what you can say of 2T Weave, who really couldn't find those ganks in the early game and really even couldn't find them in the mid game. He was just there for exclusively countering Sejuani, and that type of gameplay, it just didn't work out. Ultimately, we have a victor, and that is going to be Team Noah.
Yeah, just a very, very strong performance. Like, I will never fault a team for making an aggressive play with the right information. Like, that's something that I myself as a coach try to stress to my players a lot, is that you can go for aggressive plays, but you need the information set up. And I have to say, Howling Gale did a great job of setting up their information, setting up the vision, even though they ended up losing the game. I would chalk that up to more of just kind of with how the draft ended up playing out. I hate to go back to it, but you drafted a heavy mid-game composition, but you picked a jungler who can't really enable that in the Trundle pick. So still lots of credit has to go over to Noah. They had lots of very, very strong engages. They rotated around the map, pressuring for towers. They had a couple missteps that allowed the door open just a little bit for Howling Gale, but still in the end, it's Noah moving on.
Yeah, so congratulations to Team Noah, and congratulations to every single team who has been able to pick up their 3 victories today and make it into the Dominate League. We're looking forward to being able to cover the season and watch you guys just try and do your best out there. Just make the run for that first place, for that finals, and for that prize pool. It was always exciting when we get another Risen Esports season going, but that's going to do it here on the casting desk. My name is Eric Desrex Beltran, my co-caster right here, of course, is Primus, and another shout out to Rando Joe for his production skills. We'll see you next time on Risen Esports when we actually get the Dominate League going.